Good evening, everyone. The drinker is in the house, finally. Sorry I'm a bit late tonight. What the fuck do I think I am, Gary? Yeah. I was just a little bit slow getting everything set up, but I am here now, and I'm here to work my way through all the super chats that you lovely people were good enough to send me on Thursday night at the open bar. Obviously, there was no way I was going to get through it all that night, so better to take the time and do it right, as every mass murderer will tell you. But yeah, how the fuck is everyone tonight? What we got here? What up, drinker? Hello, channel name. Yeah, it's all going good, man. What have we got? You're fine on Gary time. Yeah, a drinker always arrives exactly when he means to. What have we got here? What up, drunkards? Hello, Chris Estrada. It's all good, man. It's a Sunday evening here in Scotland, and yeah, hopefully I'll just have a chill couple of hours working my way through super chats. It's a nice enough way to spend the evening, I would say. I've got a couple of beers handy, so try and make it interesting for you guys. And yeah, we've got MauLer coming in. I think he's actually sleeping right now. He sent me a message saying if we could start at 10 o'clock instead of 9 so that he can get a few hours of shut eye. Because he takes his goddamn job that seriously. He's editing 24 hours a day pretty much. But yeah, he will be in fairly soon as well. But I'll try and keep the party going in the meantime. What else have we got here? Elden Ring, yeah. So, I've not really been a Dark Souls guy. So, Elden Ring hasn't really had that same appeal to me as it has with other people. People who watch me doing some of my gaming streams will know I'm currently playing through Horizon Forbidden West, which is actually turning out okay at the moment, despite Aloy's fucked up face. Generally, it's pretty good storyline. The game mechanics and everything are pretty good. So, yeah, I'm enjoying that so far. So I just haven't really had time to get onto Elden Ring for all those various reasons. Yeah, Long Man has taken a long nap. Yeah, some people would nap for 20 minutes, but MauLer does it for like 3 hours as opposed to actual sleep. Yeah, anyway, so I guess I should try and get through some of these super chats then from the other night and see what we got here. I'll keep dipping back into the regular chat as well, just so you guys don't feel neglected. I'll try and keep my attention on both things as much as I can. So as far as we got the other night was Sebastian Pitet, who said, "Hey, drinker and gang, I want to thank you for your kind email regarding my diecast photos. I'm glad you liked them. Cheers all and hi rags." Excellent. Thank you very much, my friend. And yeah, I did indeed like those pictures. They were very cool. And also, I'm just kind of aware that my wireless mouse seems to have died, which is slightly annoying. Hold on a second. See if I can get it back up and running again. All right. Kodiak said, "Tell the Zoomers that it's not a draft; it's a chance to play Fortnite for real." Yeah. The only problem is you don't respawn when you get killed, so there is that slight downside to the whole thing. What's the next one? Alex Meets World said, "Such a weird time to be a Russian and U.S. citizen." Yeah, I would imagine it really is, man. That's a hell of a position to be in. I don't envy you in the slightest. But yeah, it's I imagine it's a tough situation for everyone, particularly people who are caught up in all this. My sympathies really, particularly with the people who are in the middle of the war zone at the moment. That's a shit situation, man. Next one was XSL says, "See No More Kings Sweep the Leg video as a prequel." Are we talking about Cobra Kai here? I think it might be, yeah. Yeah, I have seen that video and it's pretty good. Yeah, what's this? Just got to keep the kill to death ratio up. I mean, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, you only really get one death. That's the slight downside. Yeah, what the fuck? I've been up for 24 hours. Jeez, man, that's a long day. What we got here? What's this? 982 versus 786. What we got going on here? Is it like a stream comparison or something? Yeah, there we go. Oh Christ! I'm both Russian and Ukrainian. It'll be an interesting Easter when the family gets together. Holy shit, man! That's going to make for some awkward dinner talk. Hopefully it's over by then, man. I mean, from what I've been seeing on the news today, there seems to be like peace talks going on. So we just have to hope that something fruitful comes out of that. What's the next one? Yeah, I'll try and get back to the super chats here. Death Prince of Bel Air. He said, "I prefer the term chamber pot as opposed to Putin." I see what you did there. Very good. XSL. He said, "Drinker, watch Upgrade and stream with Gothics." I've seen Upgrade already, and it's a pretty good film. I like the fight scenes; they're pretty inventive. The cinematography is pretty decent, and I didn't expect the kind of ending that we got from it. So yeah, it was a pretty decent film altogether. Obviously not done on a huge budget, but it doesn't matter. RRTNZ said, "Hail Drunkler and guests. Given current events, what's each of your favorite apocalypse story? Movie, TV series, or comic? Have one on me." Geez, man, there's so many. There was a lot made back in the 80s for obvious reasons, dealing with nuclear war and stuff. There was an absolutely horrific one in the UK called Threads. And if there's any viewers that were around back in the 80s, they'll remember that one. Again, they didn't have a huge budget to work with, but they were really unflinching in their depiction of what would become of the country if a global nuclear war happened. And it just kind of regresses into this, like, not medieval society, but like pre-industrial almost. Yeah, it was grim as fuck, and a pretty awful ending. So yeah, it made me realize that nuclear war isn't that fun, funnily enough. But post-apocalyptic stuff, Mad Max would probably be a good series. Yeah, particularly once you get to like the second one. The first one, like, society is just kind of hanging by a thread there, but after that, everything's completely collapsed, and yeah, then you get like Thunderdome, which was a little bit overdone, but still a pretty decent movie. And yeah, even Fury Road is pretty fucking awesome. What other ones do we have here? Some people are making a lot of post-apocalyptic suggestions here. There was another one that I remember, right? And you guys in chat might be able to help me out here. I think it might have been done as like a TV movie. But it's one where there's been like a limited nuclear exchange between the US and Russia. And they are basically, the characters that have survived are trying to prevent like a full-scale nuclear exchange, like proper global war, end of the world thing. And there's like, the president is still alive, but he's been badly wounded, and the people in the military are confused about who's in charge now. I'm going to see if anyone might remember it. Out comes the Frogtown. That was Rowdy Roddy Piper. Fucking hell. I don't know if people know. Maybe I'm not just. There it is. Yep, By Dawn's Early Light. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good one. Yeah, I enjoyed that movie. Yeah, other people have got it now. So yeah, those would be my choices, I guess, for now. What's the next one? Arkwinder says, "Drinker, a show I highly recommend is Jujutsu Kaisen. It legit deserves the title of The Drinker Recommends, or as you've written it, The Drinker Recommends." Either way, like, yeah, I'm intrigued. So it's Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay. Godfoot and Friends said, "Why are we talking about Lord of the Rings? Elden Ring is coming out." Indeed, that's all that matters now. Heel versus Booby Face says, "Wow, such a sausage fest tonight. We could all die tomorrow from Comrade Putin, but bring the ladies on." Like that hottie he had for the Tomb Raider stream. Yeah, that was Melanie Mack. Yeah, she was great. She's fucking forgotten more about Tomb Raider than I'll ever know, that's for sure. But yeah, good streamer. But yeah, I can only bring on who's available, sadly. Conman Kershaw said, "Question for you all. Who's your favorite actor, actress, beautiful and brave screen warrior of all time?" So, I kind of I want to avoid the obvious choices like Sarah Connor or Ripley. Sigourney Weaver wasn't what I'd describe as beautiful necessarily, but like she was striking. But if I try and think about you know other characters that are perhaps lesser known, I'm trying to think of good examples because I feel like we haven't got many in recent years. Um, hmm. I mean, you've got the bride from Kill Bill. I think she was always going to be a good one. Yeah, I what's the other one I was thinking of there? Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat as well here. There's still a lot of chat about the war, obviously. Yeah, oh, there's a good example actually. Emily Blunt from the Edge of Tomorrow, playing a really good character, beautiful actress. She clearly like got in shape for the part, and yeah, overall just great role for her. I also remember Gina Davis from The Long Kiss Goodnight. I always thought she was pretty awesome in that. Like a movie that probably doesn't get much recognition now, but kind of blazed a trail, I guess, back then. And I thought she was pretty cool in that. Again, she really prepared physically for the role. I think she learned a fair bit about was it archery? Her character does in that. Yeah, I think she got into archery for it, which again is pretty awesome stuff. Um, and the one I put on Twitter the other day was Jessica Biel in Blade Trinity. Pretty shit movie in most respects, but she was awesome in it. She really prepped for the role. There was a great story that I'm sure you've probably heard that um, she had to shoot an arrow towards the camera, and so it was all like covered by a big plexiglass screen to protect the crew and everything, and there was only like a little square cut out of it for the actual camera lens to point through. And of course, she took aim at it and, without thinking, let an arrow fly and just put an arrow straight through that tiny little square. Like her aim was that good, and destroyed a $300,000 camera, which was pretty fucking awesome. I hope it was insured. But yeah, she was in incredible shape for that movie, and stayed so for quite a few years afterwards, which is pretty impressive. Um, yeah. Anyway, let's onward with the chats. What's the next one? Norwegian Kryptonian said, Gary, did you order the 1/6 Brandon Ruth Kingdom Come Superman? Shine on. I'm afraid Gary can't answer that, but I'd like to think that he did. Default says, MauLer, what were the 3 films you walked out of? I presume MauLer has actually walked out of 3 movies. Remind me to ask him that when he gets on, because I don't think I've ever walked out of a film. The closest I've come was when I was like 10 years old or something, and I was watching the Flintstones, and it was the most boring shite I think I'd ever seen. And I'm pretty sure I remember asking my mum, "Can we go now?" She's like, "No, I've taken you to the fucking cinema. And I paid for this. You're gonna watch this fucking movie." But that was about as close as I've gotten personally. I've suffered through every movie, even the Last Jedi, believe it or not. What's the next one? Yeah, there you go. See, never walked out, paid my money. That's it. That's a true Scotsman speaking there. Um, oh yeah, Evelyn and the Mummy. She was a great fun character. I like the fact that they had the balls to make her kind of geeky and she's not particularly good at fighting or adventuring, but she wants to be. Yeah, it made her really endearing. And yeah, it's like she kind of has to rely on Rick, at least in the first movie, to watch her back because she's not really a fighter, but she's got all the knowledge that they need to defeat the mummy. So it's they balance each other out pretty well. Imagine that. Giggles and Bits said Sauron is going to be hot and he's going to hand out the Sibians of power. He will, guaranteed. I bet it's a woman playing him as well. Patrick Mulligan says, "Well, I do enjoy the Ellie's gay, by the way, meme. I wonder, would you have made similar criticisms if Dina was a guy? Would we have an Ellie straight, by the way?" Probably not, and I'll tell you why. Because that's kind of just expected, and so there would be nothing to really remark about in that. But I got the very distinct impression from the game, and hey, if Neil Druckmann's watching, maybe he can correct me on this one. But I always got the impression that they really wanted to hammer home the fact that Ellie was gay in this one, and they had to get that in there as soon as possible and keep showing it. Because for the reasons that I've described in my review of Last of Us 2, normally when you want to develop a relationship between characters, you don't show them being together right off the bat. You take the time to build that up and have them get to know each other and bond, and gradually come together. Whereas with this game, they were in such a rush to get that all important like gay kiss in there as soon as possible that they just stumbled over their own feet and just put it straight into the opening cinematic practically. And it felt so rushed, and it felt so unnecessary at that point in the game. I would have cared more about their relationship if they'd taken the time to build it up more. Yeah, so that's probably mine. That's my take on it. And as much as we laugh about it, like there's nothing wrong with that kind of relationship in a game. Of course, you can have it, but just have it develop like any other relationship. Like actually show it built up, and then people would actually get behind it. Samurai J said Sauron will identify as a gas rather than a solid. I mean, why not? Yeah. Why not be a non-Newtonian liquid where he can be solids and liquid at the same time? Can be done, like custard. Patient Elijah said, "Hey Drinker, if you were a Time Lord and you had to regenerate and your new appearance had to be that of someone you know, but you got to choose, who would you pick?" Okay, so if I could come back looking like anyone that I've met before, damn, or just someone that I've seen. There's an interesting one. I would probably choose to come back looking like David Tennant just to piss off all the Jodie Whittaker fans out there. It's like, hey, I've come back as the actual good doctor that made this show popular. Deal with that, you dicks. What have we got here? Oh yeah, this is another good example. Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider. Yeah, she was fucking hot back in the day, man. I don't think any other actress of the time could have played Lara Croft but her. Cody Griffin said, "You upstanding gentleman, why is Hollywood crushing my dreams?" I'll tell you exactly why. Because they hate you. And they hate me, and they hate all of you because you've been on top for too long. They don't like it, and they want to take you down a peg, and they want to tell you how to be a better person. Because if they don't bring you down, then how can they be the ones to build you back up again? So yeah, that's basically it. They want to undermine everything that you used to enjoy. It's not Hollywood, I guess, as a whole. It's the shitty writers that they bring in now. Yozarian88 said, "Do you agree that Disney and Amazon will only change how they make their shows if viewers start unsubscribing in big numbers? I've now cancelled Disney Plus because I'm not a masochist." I don't blame you. And the difficulty is, with all these different streaming services, there's so much on them. There's so much content on them. That it's going to be difficult, I think, to pin down like one particular show and say, well, this show caused X number of people to unsubscribe. Because you could just cancel your account at any time, and unless you give them specific feedback as to why, they're not going to know. So there may be a mix of shows on them. Say, for example, on Amazon, you might get a whole bunch of shows that are non political and are just entertainment, completely inoffensive. Then they say they bring out things like Lord of the Rings, and you say, "Nah, fuck this, I'm done," and you cancel it. Are they going to know that that's the reason you cancelled? I don't know. And so it's going to make it tough for them to have a metric of what's successful and what's not. I guess they would be hoping that something as high profile as this, when it launches, it would attract a huge number of new viewers to Amazon. And if it doesn't achieve that, then clearly, it's failed in that sense. So I mean, I guess something like this represents probably their biggest gamble that I think you could take when you're talking about investing almost $1 billion in it all told. That I guess that's got to pay off somehow, but man, it's tough to see how it could ever be a success at this point. Fancy Lebowski said Sauron and Don Lemon. That's what we see. Black Sun said, if Sauron was a woman, she'll be the misunderstood anti-hero. If it's a man, it will be a straight-up villain. Also, have you seen Mulholland Falls? I haven't seen Mulholland Falls, I'm afraid, but yeah, I think you're exactly right. If through some mischance that Sauron is portrayed by a woman, yeah, it'll be all about building him up as a misunderstood hero who was wronged by the patriarchy or something, or building her up, should I say? But yeah, you'll never get that with a dude. Yeah. Was this one? Just can't wait for the rings to destroy our Scots accent. Yeah. I was funny. I was just watching The Kingsman the other day, and I'm doing my review for it right now. And yeah, it's so fucking weird. Like I feel like Scottish people are suddenly becoming like the new Englishmen as disposable villains. Like for some reason they're now the evil ones. I mean, it's true. Like we are all evil, obviously, and bent on world domination. But man, you're not supposed to say it out loud. Jesus. What's the next one? Just give me a second. Big Worm, he said, Hail Drinker, Hail MauLer, Gary, Gundam, and chat. I'm sad that Lord of the Rings show might be cancer. I love the movies and books. Not a scholar, but I was excited. Star Wars, Star Trek, now this, and soon Stargate. LL and P. It's, yeah, live long and prosper. It kind of feels that way. It really does. How many franchises are left, really, that you can still ruin? I don't know. Also, I'm about to sneeze, and I don't want to sneeze directly into my headset because it'll make everyone go deaf. So I'm just going to hold the pain inside. Gibbering Gibbons, he said, Drinker is the one true Scotsman. MauLer makes the Welsh cool. I mean, that's a tough order, but he does it. Nerdrotic is the most awesome of awesome dudes. He is, and he's got the best beard. Gundam is, well, Gundam. And that's why he's a good man. He is. Gundam's great, and it's always good to have him on. Oh, here's the one. Yeah, can you do a show on bad accents? I really fucking could. I could make a video on it. I could only really do Scottish ones because it's the only ones I'm qualified to talk about. I mean, I couldn't tell you what a good American accent is or what, but yeah, Scottish accents are deceptively difficult to get right. You could do a passable one so that people who aren't from here would identify it, but to fool an actual Scottish person, that's tough. What's the next one? Oh yeah, Indiana Jones about to be ruined. Yeah, it kind of seems that way. In about 10 years, when the movie eventually comes out. Edward Parry Jones says, Hail Drinker and all involved. I got involved even earlier this time, but sadly it's once again getting late, so I've got to jet. That's all right, man. I'm even later replied to your super chat, so there we go. Drinker, how exactly would any Joe get in contact with you? Discord? No, the best way is just through my email. Yeah, just go to my channel, look for the about section. And my email should be there, and you can contact me that way. If you try and do it through Twitter, yeah, I probably won't pick it up. The other option is Patreon or something like that, and just like become like a patron, and message me. But either way, I can get in touch with you, or I can reply to you. Clifton 3D said, Hail to the power of booze. This is really needed after this week of shit. Keep up the great work. Thanks, man. And yeah, hope we kept you entertained for a couple hours. SJ Shady said, speaking of Crichton, tell Gary he still needs to watch season 1 of Red Dwarf that I sent him. Well, how has Gary not seen Red Dwarf, man? This is a dude who watches Doctor Who. It just doesn't make sense. What's the next one? Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to move in next door to you. You have to murder some of my neighbors first. Thomas said, part 1. As a former soldier, I often been disappointed and angry about how many people in the West seemingly have lost the plot. I'm not suggesting war by any means, and we are certainly not free from blame. Um, but as but if we, as collective democracies, begin to question the fundamental rights which have got us to the relatively peaceful lives we enjoy, it opens the door for truly bad actors to walk through it and do whatever they see fit. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more, man. Kedge64 said, to paraphrase MauLer in EFAP episode, the two franchises that Hollywood hasn't ruined yet are Gremlins and Back to the Future. Yeah, that's pretty much what you got. And it's not like Gremlins is much of a franchise. It's like 2 movies and that's your lot. What's next? Yeah. Everybody's dead, Dave. Red Dwarf is fucking great. I'd actually like to hear if people in chat have a favorite season. Do let me know, because I have got such a soft spot for seasons 5 and 6. It was weird because like a lot of people look down on season 6 because like they're not on the Dwarf anymore, they're on Starbug. But I don't know, man. They had episodes like Gunmen of the Apocalypse and yeah, Emo Hawk. It was just amazing. Yeah, see, we're getting a few season 6s here. Season 2, I think the first couple of seasons they were still really figuring it out. Season 1 was pretty rocky, as I recall. Season 6 was tighter, yeah, fair play. Yeah, getting a lot of love for season 6. Honestly, I think season 6 was the last really funny one, because one of the writers left after that, and season 7 was just it was almost like a different show. They lost so much of the humor. Backward, yeah, backwards. That was amazing. That's I'll never forget when the cat goes to take a shit, and because they're living on backwards world. Well, guess what happens? Yeah, damn, man. Oh, honestly, I need to review Red Dwarf at some point. It's fucking brilliant British comedy. George Watkins, he said, plugging my new podcast is called Film by Design with George Watkins on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I speak with creatives who work in the art department on films. Thanks for the inspiration, drinker, and have a listen, folks. Nice. So it's Filmed by Design, and that's George Watkins who did that. Give it a go. Yeah. Smeg Heat. It's brilliant. Crichton was awesome. Season 6 did have Rimmerworld, yeah. Rimmerworld was great. Your flared nostrilness. Just an entire planet full of Arnold Rimmers. It's terrifying and awesome at the same time. I'm going to say this. Fucking Rimmer was the linchpin of the entire show. Like, so many episodes focused on him. And it all his neuroses and all of his problems and shit. Like, he got so much more development than everyone else. Yeah. Burning Rimmer's toy soldiers, yeah. I think that was the episode with Ace Rimmer as well. Damn, I need to go and watch Red Dwarf again. So fucking good. Chuckman Does said, Gary, I was watching Dread, the good one, the other night, and it got me interested in reading some of the comics. Do you have any recommendations? Sorry, Gary sadly does not, because he's not here. And I'm afraid I don't either. Apologize for that, man. This is what happens when I take too long to reply to these things. Kung Fu Hot Dog says, hail the great men in the room. You inspire me. Thanks, man. Fancy Lebowski said, I'm predicting Galadriel hunting werewolves, vampires, and creatures from Nan Dungortheb. That's really the only enemies in and around. I can't even say that word. I will take your word for that, though. MC Dunna said, "Have you seen Midway?" Yeah, I have. It's good. If not, I'd absolutely recommend it. It's my favorite war film since Saving Private Ryan for serious stakes and epic action. Yeah, so it's a pretty faithful, um, you know, interpretation of the Battle of Midway. I guess it shows it from both sides. It shows, the losses that both sides take. So yeah, it's pretty fucking good. There's an original movie from back in the '60s, I think, which I might actually rank above that because I think that goes into more detail. But yeah, both movies are pretty fucking good. Obviously, the newer one has much better special effects. Default said, "Bro, that Kingsman knee sucking scene was wild. It really was. That was an extremely weird fucking scene." And it went on for a really long time as well. Like, I can't imagine what Ralph Fiennes must have been thinking at that moment. Um, yeah, same from this guy. Chris Friedrichs said, "How did you guys like that tongue scene in The Kingsman?" It wasn't my favorite scene. I'm not gonna lie. I did like where they actually fought Rasputin and he's doing that crazy Russian dancing. Binary Bard says, "The other day, my nephew and I were at the gym talking about movies. He asked if I had ever heard of The Critical Drinker. We then talked about your videos while we worked out. Good times." Nice, man. So you both happen to have watched me already. That is pretty fucking cool. Um, what did I think of Annihilation? I wasn't a huge fan. Not gonna lie, I did a video on it, so you can find it in my back catalog of videos. But yeah, I didn't particularly like Annihilation. I think it got a lot of props for being like this great, deep piece of sci-fi. I just thought it was really fucking dumb. What's the next one? No, I haven't yet watched Attack on Titan. We were talking about that the other night. Still on my to-do list. Um, yeah, Ghostbusters 2016. I think that pretty much started us on the path. I mean, it would have happened with a different film either way, but that's probably the first. Def81 says, "Hi guys, have a pint, drinker. Thank you very much." Uh, Sadly, I think £5 doesn't even get you a pint nowadays. This is inflation for us. Yeah, this is where we're at as a society. But it's very much appreciated, man. Cheers. Genel Ryzen said, "Silly Nori Brandybuck. Didn't Brandybuck get changed from Old Buck when they moved to the Brandywine River? Why the hell would it be a Brandybuck thousands of years earlier? Love from one of your 6% female audience." Yeah, the ratio is pretty skewed. I don't actually know the answer to that. Probably Gary would have been a better dude to answer it. But yeah, um, excuse me. Yeah, I think probably they've been just not particularly paying attention to the lore, so this is where you end up. Um, Brightest Day said, "What a panel!" Yeah, it was. We got some good folk in for this, and me. Obsidian Mug says, "I had a dream where MauLer's face got revealed on stream. He looked like Ron Weasley." You cannot behold the face of MauLer and live, sadly. It'll drive you insane. So yeah, be thankful you haven't really seen him because he's like a Lovecraftian nightmare. Adrian said, "Would you say you and MauLer are best friends?" I mean, we get on great, we haven't like hung out in real life, so there's that. Like, we might see each other in the real world and instantly try and kill each other. Who knows? I'm sure we'll find out at some point. But yeah, he's a great guy to hang around with. Darth Bender says, "So how much do we hate diversity?" Not that much. I think I said in my what stream was it? No, not stream. Sorry, my video on Lord of the Rings. Um, diverse casting in and of itself is great, perfectly fine. The issue is when it's misused, and you try to apply it to situations where it just doesn't work. And probably Lord of the Rings would be a great example. Like, the lore and the all the work that Tolkien did kind of specifically states you don't really get black elves. That's the nature of it. Um, and so to try and work it in here just for the sake of having a diverse cast, it's just not appropriate. It doesn't work. But in other things, if you got a modern day thriller or something like that, hey, great! Like, there's no restrictions on what you can do then, so go for it. Red Seven says Gary looks like he was given crack pipes from Biden. Maybe he was. Maybe he's a recipient of it. Nah, Gary's been clean and sober for fucking like 30 years. Absolute bastard that he is. I can't say I can go like 30 days or 30 hours. Definitely 30 minutes. I can go 30 minutes for sure. RRTNZ said, in my humble opinion, Kingsman was awesome. It's character driven, fast paced, fun, inventive, and a piss take on Bond. Absolutely. It made Firth look badass, which is tricky, true. The prequel was tonally discordant, badly paced, and driven by a convoluted story. Cheers. I don't think the story was particularly convoluted. The problem that they had, I guess, was they were trying to work a lot of real historical events in and weave like a fictional narrative that ties it all together, which is not easy to do because you're covering like a period of 3 or 4 years from the start of World War One almost to right to the end actually. So it's at least 4 years. So there's a lot of shit going on that you've got to try and like put into a condensed, easy to digest movie form, and I think it does a pretty good job with that. The tone does change. There's no doubt about that. But then if you think about the first Kingsman, the tone does switch abruptly at a certain point as well. And so the movies kind of have that in common. So I think it's all right in that respect. F6 Blue said, so do we now have to update Greek and Norse mythology to make it relevant to a modern audience? This is our English mythology. Yeah, I mean, well, Marvel's already done that for you, conveniently enough, with the Asgardians. If they're meant to be based on Norse legend, then really they should be pretty homogenous, but clearly they are not. So yeah, I mean, all of this stuff just gets kind of altered by modern Hollywoods. That's just what we got. That's how it's done. Eric K said, how soon till Amazon buys the rights to the books and rewrites them the way they want? I tell you, man, it could happen. This is why I always say, get yourself some physical media. Buy like real physical books. Buy Blu-rays and stuff when you can, because when you start downloading things, they can be changed at any time. Like ultimately, all you've got is a license to download something, and the owners of it can revoke that license if they want, or alter the original file so that what you get is not what you had originally. So yeah, it's a scary kind of prospect that opens up, because yeah, they could start going back to any classic movie that they don't like the look of nowadays and just update it for modern audiences. Yeah, physical media, it's the way to go. You can get your Blu-ray, put it in your Blu-ray player. 50 years from now, and assuming the thing still works, you can still watch that movie in the original form. No one can change it. Next one. Drinker's actually North Korean. He's culturally appropriate in Scotland. Fuck, my secret's out, Gim. That's it. I'm like that dude from Die Another Day. I got genetically altered to make myself look Scottish, but I am in fact from North Korea. So fuck. Yeah, that's this is what we go through now. We're gonna change your culture from the inside. Yeah, that's a slight problem. So you kind of have to keep your old players. Keep your Blu-ray players, keep your DVD players if you've still got them. Games consoles are handy for that, actually, because not only do they play your old games, but they also play your old formats for videos. So it's great. Dream B said, "Stop letting companies produce shitty fan fiction as canon. No more. Either faithfully adapt or write your own stuff." Yeah, but why write your own stuff and come up with new stories when you can just piggyback on the success of someone else's work? That's how things are done nowadays. Generally, it's been the safe way to make stuff in Hollywood. If you're going to hand over like $200 million to make a movie or a TV show or whatever, you don't want to gamble with it. You want a good return on your investment. That's what you do. You take something that's been proven to be popular in the past, and you just say that you're either remaking it or updating it, whatever, and you're going to hope that you're going to tap into that built-in fan base. Um, I'm waiting on a DNA test result. Hope they don't find any woke genes. I think you'll be all right, man. What's the next one? Where are you? Where are you? Khalil G says it's a Gundam. Favorite Gundam character from the UC. Sorry, he's not here to answer it, mate. I apologize. Insanity Methods. There's a guy with a missing eye in Two Towers too. Which one is the? Oh yeah, I remember that guy actually. The old guy that's manning the ramparts at Helm's Deep. Yeah, man. I don't know if that was like makeup or if they actually did manage to find a guy with a missing eye, but yeah, that was fucking distracting. Lizard K Rules says, Drinker, we're waiting for that Netflix Texas Chainsaw Massacre review. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I just keep thinking back to the Jessica Biel one where she was going around in that vest, braless, and she was very bouncy, and it was fantastic. I didn't really care about the people getting carved up by chainsaws. It was all about my Jessica Biel back then. I imagine we'll not have anything like that in the new movie because that's not allowed now. The Paranormal Soldier, he said, money for the Lord of Scrub. These people don't have a creative bone in their body. That's why they have to fuck up established IPs. True. Their own works would never sell. I think that's what you get. Yeah. They won't take a chance on investing in new stuff. And most of the writers that they hire aren't really capable of creating it anyway. So yeah, this is why you end up with the shit that you do. RRTNZ says, Justice for Gothmog. You guys rock. Cheers. Gothmog was a guy who rose to the very highest levels of his profession despite his disability. And I think he was an inspiring story. He really was. He wasn't handicapped, he was handy capable. And I think we should all take a moment to acknowledge Gothmog. I'm gonna toast to him here to Gothmog. All right. Next up, Burst Angel said, Middle Earth is the oldest fandom with its roots in medieval European lore. We lost Christopher Tolkien as the protector of Middle Earth. It's up to us, the fans, to protect it now. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of shit that it's come down to this, really. I just wish he'd had some kind of clause in his will, because he obviously inherited the rights to the Tolkien estate. And he just said, look, if there's not a suitable custodian for this now, then the rights basically end with me and they can never be sold on to anyone else. That should have been an ironclad stipulation in his will so this shit wouldn't happen. Because really, if you're part of the Tolkien family now, and you had the massive success of the movies and all the residuals that probably still come off that, do you really need more fucking money? Do you really need Amazon's blood money to like buy you another like fucking mansion? Jesus. Pope Metallicus said, Hail to our inebriated intellectual and hail to Gary the Grey, Papa Gundam, that fat British man that got me into the culture war, and of course, Hyrax. Of course. Yeah, thanks, Pope Metallicus. Very much appreciated, mate. Stalker QTYA said, Can't wait for the Rings of Power EFAP. Yeah, they're going to annihilate it in excruciating detail. Frozen in the 80s said, Hail Drinker, I've overheard that there's a Bioshock movie coming from Netflix, and to keeping if from turning to shit, what director would you say could pull it off? I'm thinking Mike Flanagan. That's not a bad shout, actually. He definitely produced good stuff with the Haunting series and Midnight Mass. Yeah, I think that could be a good shout. I'm trying to actually. Yeah, because I was just thinking about Villeneuve, from having directed Dune. Could he pull off something like Bioshock, or would he be too kind of slow paced for it? I think he could do it, like the big majestic shots of Rapture and stuff. I think, Villeneuve could probably make it work as well. But yeah, I'm not too enthusiastic about it. I'm not too optimistic about how good it's going to be. Harry Marshall said, "Wouldn't it be more fun to just make something new?" Yeah, you'd think so. It is fun to make something new. It's just not a wise investment for Hollywood, I guess. Tom Blunt said, "Have any of you read the book series The Expanse is based on? They're brilliant and resolve all the plots that weren't resolved in the show. Love to you all." Thanks, man. I don't know about the others. I haven't read the books, I'm afraid. I've just watched the show. Dion said, "There are many narcissistic sociopaths but out there um, where they gain power and money and they don't understand art." I mean, I think so, yeah. Like, there's always been narcissistic arseholes in Hollywood, but they were usually driven by profit, which was fine, you know, up until this point. Now they're a lot of the time more driven by ideology, and this is where we get to. Um, have you ever drunk a zero alcohol beer? Once by mistake, and I never gotten over the horror of it. So yeah, never by choice. Yeah, this sums it up perfectly. The bigger the budget, the more risk averse the project will be, since they want guaranteed returns. Absolutely true. Like I said before, if you're investing $200 million in your movie, that's not the kind of money you just throw around and just see what happens. You're going to want to know that you're going to get that money back, and the safest way up until this point has been, um, remakes, long-running franchises, and superhero stuff, because they make money. Sadly, um, yeah. And here we go. Young man,
Hello.
it was your nap, sir.
Oh my god, I need to go back to sleep as soon as we're done here.
It's a bold man who goes for a nap at like 7 o'clock at night. Like, damn, I would just end up sleeping through.
It came close. Funny enough, I used the alarm on my phone. My alarm recently broke. It made me late for made me an hour late for Real BBC and Friday Night Tights, both in a row.
Oh shit.
I was talking to Gary about it. I was like, I couldn't figure out what was wrong because my alarm clock put the new batteries in because the batteries died, and then I realized that the alarm just wasn't going off. Everything else was working, just the alarm doesn't work. It plays, but it's no volume. Ordered a new one. So until then, I've been using my phone, and I put an alarm on just now, and it I guess I chose a bad option because it just played like fantasy music, but really chill, like birds
Just-
chirping and shit. And I didn't wake up for like 20 minutes. It's like should have put on some, I don't know, metal or something.
yeah, you get yourself fired up immediately. I must admit, there's something instinctive in me. I just fucking hate the sound of an alarm clock. And so I kind of need mine to just come on gradually, like the volume just gradually increases until eventually I wake up.
It's
Yeah,
fair. I hate them too, but they do their job.
oh well, we're all glad that you were able to make it for this.
Hello.
Yeah. What was this one here? We guys don't have a nuclear power core like X-Ray Girl. Yeah.
I'm
She
working
just
on
never
it.
sleeps. Was that, man?
I said I'm working on it. I'll get a power core eventually.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I want an arc reactor like Tony, and just like, yeah, keep me going. Anyway, so I was just working my way through the super chats, man. So, yeah,
Let's do it.
There was one question actually for you. And
Ooh.
I don't know if this is referencing something you've said before, but what 3 movies have you walked out of the cinema on?
I've not walked out on any. I've come close to walking out on 3. The answers are not gonna. They'll shock you. So I'll do the easy one. Interstellar is one. I think I went from being so insulted and angry to starting to laugh at it. When it got to the fifth dimensional bookcase scene, I was
Uh,
like, this
see,
movie's a fucking farce.
you were almost at the end by that point, though, weren't you? Like, you were like, "Oh, I've made it pretty much. I just have to get through this shitty bit." But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
that was.
it was when they first had the conversation about navigating via love. I was like, "Oof, you're really pushing me." Then there was the water planet where everyone's an idiot and falls over, and I was just like, "It's really hard to watch, especially with all the effort you put into up to this point." And then Yeah, just all the Matt Damon, Dr. Man stuff. Like, people are like, why do you hate that movie so much? It's like, I want to explain it one day. I will. It's just been this constant. But yeah, that was one. 2 was John Wick 2. And it was specifically the subway scene where they start shooting at each other in open public and destroying the walls around each other, and nobody notices. I felt like John Wick had been destroyed at this point. I was like, it's just a joke now. Seriously, the first one and the second one, they're completely different films. They come across as the same to a lot of people, but my God, it became a joke. I think Metal is still considering making a John Wick 2 video. He's made the John Wick 3 video, which is essentially the same problem. Has all the same problems. Bad takes from MauLer. Trust me. John Wick 1 is the good one. 2 and 3 are the shite ones. And then the third movie. This is the controversial one, as far as I know. It was Revenant, and it was literally because I was bored out of my mind. I considered leaving just because I could go and sit down somewhere and stare at a wall.
That movie always struck me as just like the Leonardo DiCaprio acting showcase. You know, it's just like we're gonna make this just really long, ponderous movie of me just acting the shit out of every scene I'm in.
That's the thing. I don't actually have any criticism. I was just bored. I was just like, I'm not engaged at all. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you there, actually. I with John Wick 2, I think it was just one of those movies I was happy to sit back and just enjoy the ride. Like I wasn't really analyzing it on any sort of deep level. It just kind of didn't strike me as that sort of film. I was more just like, yeah, you shoot people and then like knocking them over and then shooting them in the head and then shooting them again. It's fun. That was all I was looking for. Maybe I'm pretty simplistic when it comes to films like that. I don't know. It's like with certain movies, it's almost like a switch flips in my head, and it's like, okay, I can revert into dumb mode now, and I don't need to like, interrogate the plot too much on this one because I feel like it's not really built on that. It's just there to construct some action sequences, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, because like you'd be like, how is it that those 3 did it, but so many others haven't? It's like, I don't know. I really don't know how it works sometimes, because I've seen, like, like TLJ. It's like, you didn't want to walk out on that, and it's like, no, and I don't know why, because that's one of the fucking worst movies ever. But just how it goes. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you on Interstellar as well, though. Like,
really?
Yeah. I've talked about this before. Just like such a botched ending. It's like how to write the most anticlimactic, uninteresting resolution to everything possible. It's like, you just pinged out the Morse code to the formula that cancels out gravity somehow through a bookcase that goes over time through the power of his love. Like, fuck off. This isn't writing. This is just like pulling shit out your arse.
I think I've told people before, one of my favorite memories of seeing it was on the way out, like leaving the cinema. There was just some guy behind me and my friend talking to his wife, I think, and he was like, "What the fuck was that? What was that? What?" I was just like, I know that feel. I know.
Ackles Floozy said, what I need is another Clan of the Cave Bear book. It's been 20 plus years since the last one. The last one was, oh man, I should know this. I read it, and it was garbage. Yeah, it was about 2012, I think. 2011 or 2012. So it's been like 10 years since the last one. And I think the author is either dead or like 90 years old now. So I don't think you're going to get any more. Yeah, that's a series that went downhill fucking hard. I think the first 3 were good, and then after that is like kind of fell off a cliff. Lyle Hamack said Amazon's ROP is still going to have massive views. 257 million watched the trailer. If just 20% watch, that's enough in Amazon's view. So I don't think they care about the trailers ratio. They just want exposure. I mean, I think that's true, but I guess this has to translate into something tangible. Like, it has to get more people to subscribe to Amazon Prime, ultimately, because if they don't do that, like, it doesn't really matter if their existing customer base watch it or not. That doesn't translate into anything.
that feels so strange to me as well, because like I don't even know how they try and crunch the numbers on that in terms of predictions for what a single show can do when, Amazon Prime, like for me and you, I'm assuming, like that wasn't even something that was affected by the shows that were releasing. I like it for the delivery service. Like
Pretty much, yeah. It's like so I can get booze sent straight to my door. I don't even have to go to Asda or anything. It's great.
yeah, it's genuinely a pretty strong service. And the idea that it's like, oh, if we put out, this, that, and the other, we can get more subscribers. It's just like, I guess, yeah, I guess there are people out there who would be like, oh, I can't wait to get Amazon Prime to watch strictly the Lord of the Rings show, as opposed to, like, who doesn't have it for the deliveries at this point? I don't know.
I know. Yeah, and it's like, do they get to the point where it's like, well, we've pretty much saturated the market now. Like everyone
Yeah.
who's going to get Prime has got it already. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know, man, because people were asking me this earlier as well. It's like, well, how do you gauge, you know, can you stop shows, say, from being woke, or companies like Amazon producing loads of woke shows like Lord of the Rings seems to be shaping up as, if enough people cancel? And I was saying, like, well, in a sense, yes, but then how are they going to gauge why these people have cancelled? Like, people, I guess, like cancel their Prime all the time just for whatever reason. Are they going to know that it's because this particular show pissed them off? I don't know.
and you guys, like, there's like, oh, we want 200 million more on Disney Plus, for example. And then they're like, yeah, how are we going to do it? It's like, oh, maybe release a few more Boba Fett shows. I'm just like, is that really going to do it? I just don't see that being there's 200 million people out there who are like, oof, I would if there was just that one extra show about Star Wars.
Yes, like if I could get a Cassian Andor show, I'd be all in.
I can't believe that's got a second season. That's so funny.
It's
Nobody wanted the first one.
no. Wait, has the first one been out?
No,
Okay.
That's the best part. Like it's gotten renewed, and it's just like, wait, this has nothing to do with whether or not people even enjoy it. Then there's some weird stuff going on in the background about this, because that's information they wouldn't have wanted to come out until the show would come out, because they'd be like, whether or not people even liked it, they'd be like, oh, people like it so much, season 2. It's like, no, now we know it got a season 2 before it was even released, before it was a trailer.
Yeah, because at least you could pretend, because obviously with a streaming service, you can completely fudge your numbers and not have to tell people jack shit. And yeah, you can just be like, well, due to overwhelming demand, of course we're going to do a season 2 of Cassian Andor. And I don't know if it just becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy when it's like, well, a show's been renewed for like 3 seasons, must be good if it's stuck around this long. And so people will just give it a watch based on that. I don't know, like the only model I can think of that they're using for things like Star Wars on Disney Plus now is just sheer quantity and just overwhelm people with a tidal wave of stuff. And even if you only watch one show, well, you're watching something that they've produced.
Yeah,
I don't know. Oh, there we go. When I cancelled Paramount Plus, it gave me the option to write why. I told them it's because of the new Star Trek. I mean, that's fair enough. Like, I guess it just depends on people actually saying. Not everyone can be arsed filling out those customer survey things on why you're cancelling, so you just get nothing. But yeah, good on you for doing that anyway.
I was gonna say,
right.
Good way to get a message forward. I guess if everybody cancelled for that reason, it probably would actually matter to them in some way.
The Spawn Camp said the Hobbit trilogy is better than the book. I can't say I agree.
I've never heard that opinion before, but okay. Yeah.
It's an interesting take, I suppose. Big Flippin' Boss said you wouldn't even be allowed to use female leads from modern foreign films as examples for the very reasons that they are foreign. Who's the real bigot here? What the fuck? Leads from modern foreign films as examples for the very reason that they are foreign. I don't know. I guess that's Hollywood. Judas Goat Barbecue says Jackson's Galadriel in The Hobbit defeated Sauron with a vial of water in her dress with bare feet. She didn't need armor and swords. Very true. James Howard said characters with different goals and motivations are the real diversity. The leftists want a bunch of rainbow people who look superficially different but all act the same. It's why their stories suck. I guess so. I mean, if that's the way you see the world, that's all you're going to be able to project into your writing, and I guess that's what you get. The only diversity that matters to them is like, you know, skin color, sexuality, and gender.
I just like the idea of happy little rainbow people, like walking around like rainbow, like cartoons with little smiles. That's what your story's about.
Well, like
Like,
Zippy from Rainbow. Like, fuck,
yeah.
yeah. um, Michael Hings says leftivism helped embolden Putin. He must have seen that recruitment ad for the US military and thought, right, that's what we're up against. We can fucking steamroller them. The game statistics said can't watch this one at work, but you better own Underworld at this point. Yeah, I mean, like, do you mean own it as in like fucking destroy it, or own it as in watch it? Like, I don't know. I didn't mind Underworld, to be fair. I remember Kate Beckinsale in a leather corset and being pretty happy about that.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
there's an attempt at being badass in them. It doesn't always work. I love Bill Nye in the. You could tell he was the. They realized they needed him because they brought him back with loads of flashbacks in the second one, and then the third one is a prequel with him in it throughout. And then
Yeah.
I think they gave up after that. No, they introduced Charles Dance then in the fourth
I was
one.
about to say, like, who's the fucking Bill Nye equivalent? It's like about his age and stuff, like experienced actor. Yes, Charles Dance. You know, for a dude who's an extremely capable actor, like Charles Dance has been in a lot of shit.
Dude, it's not fair. He keeps getting cast as like roles where he either doesn't do anything or it's in a film that's terrible and no one likes it. It's like,
I think
no.
truly the low point was seeing him in Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's like, oh, what are you doing?
I'm sure it paid really well, but like, it's yeah, he's just general man, and he's like, everybody do evil things, and you're like, yeah, do the evil things.
His character baffled me. Like, to this day, I don't understand what he was trying to accomplish, but
No,
man.
was it something to do with like he was trying to make money through releasing the dinosaurs or something? Sorry, dinosaurs. Fuck,
I don't think it
whatever
was
they are.
about money for him even. It was like he wanted to wipe out humanity or something because he believed that Mother Nature needed to take over again or something. Like, it was really...
Well, because he had like the only scene I liked where he basically was like, "So we wanted to release all of these monsters, and you're upset people are dying. What did you expect would happen?" And she was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
She was like a baffling character in that movie.
Oh God, yeah. She was like Mother of the Year as well, just constantly putting her daughter in danger. Jesus. Charlie said two things. Drinker, thanks for inspiring me to write my own book. I feel like I've truly found my calling. Nice one. Sargon, what's a good research resource for Mesopotamian culture and history? Godspeed, lads. MauLer, do you want to field that question?
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
I don't know. Dead Fed said, speaking of rings, any future Elden Ring streams? Also, hi Rags.
Yes. I might have gotten into streaming some Elden Ring. I'm very happy with that game for now.
Nice. Yeah, you started streaming it straight after the open bar on Thursday, didn't you?
Yeah, and that went for 5 hours. Then I did 6 hours recently, and then I've already done 3 streams on it. I'm liking it a lot. And it's kind of cool because like I've played all of the Soulsborne stuff now essentially, except for Sekiro, which is my bad. I should get on that. But this one's been fun. It's like a big old open world instead of what they've done before. It's a very new experience in a sense, but yeah, I don't know. And it's fun like culturally, I guess, because everybody's sort of jumping in, and it's a really nice distraction. Let's put it that way.
No, good stuff.
And it came right after I'd finished my video, so like it felt like a reward. I don't know.
Yeah, you just like chill out for a bit. Big Dave K said, hey, a drinker and company, have any of you ever seen Oat Studios' experimental short films? I'd recommend checking them out if you haven't already. Oat Studios? Not even sure what they are.
Yeah, I don't recognize the name.
Is that's not Blomkamp Studio, is it? Yes, Neil Blomkamp. Yes. So, yeah, I think his goal there was he released a bunch of short movies onto YouTube, and the idea was like the most like viewed ones and the most successful ones would form the basis of a full movie. And I would recommend them. Yeah, they are genuinely interesting. There's one set in like Vietnam. There's one about like an alien invasion. Some of
Hmm.
them blend together like sci-fi and supernatural and stuff. It's yeah, they're really good. They're only about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes each, so they're not long.
I always
But
love the big like party poopers for sci-fi, where it's like, if any alien has the power to get to us via interstellar travel, we lose immediately with the technology they would have. It's like, boo! We want to see
yeah,
this into fuck what Independence Day. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
we'll give them a computer virus. Fuck them.
Yeah.
If we've got Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum on our side, there's nothing we can't do.
Exactly.
Brandon Hiles said, Sargon, you were phenomenal on Academic Agent last night. I'm sure he was. Excellent. Immortal Remus said, manga and anime are kicking arse right now. Yeah, they absolutely are. I think like manga's like outselling basically the entire industry, like the entire comic book industry.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm totally behind that. This is a brick, said, idea, thinking pipes and caps on. 1K piece puzzle, pieces of jigsaw distributed amongst the different races, cuckoos on the left, crazies on the right, and the mentals in the middle. Convince everyone to yield their pieces. What?
I agree. Just nod
Yes.
and agree.
Well done, sir. Derkun says, I plan to quit Amazon Prime at least for some time, and Lord of the Rings seems like a good opportunity. Should we all coordinate for a day to terminate it? Maybe the day before the show drops so they notice. I think you'd probably have to wait until it does drop and then quit, if that's what you're going to do. Because you could pretend like you watched the first episode and you're so outraged by it, you're like, nah, fuck this, I'm out.
And I guess we should wait until we actually see it, just in case there's anything that's remotely good in it, Could be.
Who knows? Yeah. Adam Thompson said, impressed that the drinker knows his Warhammer. I don't, I'm just faking. Is he going to try and take Cavill's title as the best looking guy in Warhammer? I don't think Henry Cavill's got any worries, put it that way. Jobs McGee said, demons can go fuck themselves.
Yeah,
true.
That's fair. Yeah.
Spence said, the Rohan soldier that yells for archers to fire has one eye. There you go, girl. I don't know how we were talking about that. Someone brought that up earlier. There was a guy with one eye in Two Towers, and I'm like, yeah, I remember him. Yeah, and I could never work out if that was CGI'd or like they actually found a guy with a missing eye, and they're like, yeah, that's cool. Put him in the movie.
Yeah, I assume it's just a guy without an eye. Yeah,
that's cool.
True representation, right there.
There you go. His depth perception probably wasn't so good, but that's all right. It's fine for up close fighting. Xenic said, as Lord of the Rings fans and a Warhammer fan, this was an unexpected twist, but a good one. I suppose if you're into one, you're probably going to be into the other as well to some extent.
Yeah.
Jar of Mayo. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Just that, like, who hasn't seen Lord of the Rings at this point? Who's a film file,
Yeah.
Don't count Jay.
Jay's seen like 3 movies in like his entire life, so this doesn't count as a normal person. Jar of Mayo said, I saw the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I was rooting for Leatherface the whole time, killing influencers. The bus scene was the best. It just sounds awful. Like, have you seen it?
I've only seen Jay Longbone ranting about it on Twitter, which, to be fair, I hope she's like a video. I'd watch the fuck out of it. Do you care about spoilers?
No, not in the slightest.
So, from what I understand from the clips that she showed, the original girl that survived the original movie, she is back, and they Laurie Strode her. She's like super old, like, and she's kind of like grizzled and veteran-y, and she's doing the thing of, he's coming back, and I'm gonna make sure he doesn't hurt anyone else, that sort of thing.
So this is like Jamie Lee Curtis in like the later Halloween movies.
They've done the same kind of thing, only this time around, like, that on its own is like not a huge problem to me in terms of, it's just like, to me it seems like, okay, yeah, fine, all right, you want to get people to be like, hey, I don't even know the name of the final girl from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Though, to be fair, I was never that interested in that movie. I saw it and was just like, okay, I could see why it has its position and stuff like that. But yeah, she'd shown a clip of what happens to her, which is that she tries to attack. I think he said Michael. It's like, no, Bubba, right? That's his name, I think. She like goes up to him with a gun. I think she shoots him and it sort of makes him stagger for a bit, but then he manages to grab her and he just puts the chainsaw in her chest. and just drives it up and then throws her into a pile of trash.
And that's it. That's how her character ends.
Well, she gets to shoot him one more time before she just dies. But again, it doesn't do anything because he just I don't know what that movie's trying to say about him with guns. But I know that happens, and I was just like, why would you do that? Why would anyone want to see the girl from the first movie come in and just get chainsawed and die? Like, what? I don't understand why you make that choice narratively.
So yeah, I couldn't even begin to imagine.
It's so lame, you know?
Yeah, it's like we've just got the opportunity to use this character and this actor, and it's like, nah, I don't know what to do with them. Fuck it. Can't have them like actually kill him or anything. So yeah, just die in like the laziest way possible. The one-eyed guy in Two Towers is called Wayne Phillips, and it's all real. And I actually need to look up a picture of him just to see.
I remember it looking pretty good, like in a sense that looked kind of real. So yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh man, yeah, that's totally real. Brilliant. It's that's a proper Chad right there. He's like, I could wear an eye patch, but nah, fuck it. Just go without, go naked. All right. Sith Cake said the Emperor protects. He does. We gotta have faith in him. The Ginger Menace gave me a foxy super sticker. Cheers. Andrew Knapp said for the greater good. Yeah, I think we can all get behind that, can't we, MauLer? The greater good. Shut up. Marius Gage said the Ultramarines are good guys. I will die on this hill. Deny it all you want, but I can prove it on an Etch-a-Sketch. I mean, I imagine they are. They're like the nicest of the Space Marine chapters, aren't they? Like the Ultramarines. They're the ones that are like Roman legionnaires or something. The rest of them are all kind of fucked up in one way or another. But the Ultramarines seem to be like the best of the best.
I know less than nothing about Warhammer.
Yeah, if only Sargon was here. He'd probably argue with me right now. Doomslaying Dempsey said, Hail Drinker and Co. How do you guys think World War III will affect the gaming industry? I mean, like, if it's a full-on tactical nuclear exchange, probably it's going to be quite bad. Also,
Fallout might have a new resurgence somehow. It's like
that's true. Yeah, that's true. We can compare notes with it.
Yeah.
I want to get put in Vault 69 in that case. That'll be all good with me. Also, have you seen if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device? No, I have not seen that, I'm afraid. Josta McKnight says, well, there is the Tau and the Eldar. Everyone decent sapient species has to engage in questionable practices just to survive. It's just part of the fun. Indeed, yeah, it's a galaxy of constant war. Bleach Demon said, most terrifying mythical beast, the Sardong. There we go. David DiRenzo said, Drinker, would you consider commissioned reviews? I would pay to hear your opinion of promising young women. I don't do commissioned reviews, I'm afraid, because once you go down that road, like you end up just, talking about films that you wouldn't even necessarily want to look at before, and you'll get a tidal wave of people who all want to have you do this or that or the other. So no, I just tend to do my own thing. TR said, didn't they make a series of children's books set in the 40k universe? I really hope they did. The only thing that should be for everyone is food, water, and booze. I'd love to see someone try to convert the 40k universe into a nice family-friendly, kids series. Mr. Medigu said, Gundam, assuming the world doesn't get worse, have you thought about covering each of the Gundam anime series? Let's say that he has. How does that sound? I think that'll do. Yeah, there you go. Blood Angels, red armor, sexy. Once they get that bloodlust in them, though, that's it. They're fucked. Burmese Tangerines said, I'm 24. You guys aren't out of touch or old. You all tapped into exactly the sentiment that people my age feel. Well, that's good. I mean, MauLer practically is your age. It's me that's old.
I still feel old. So. Everyone's old now.
This is what YouTube does to you.
Yep.
Sprocket Fox said the Krieg women aren't complaining about diversity in the workforce. Yeah, the death core of Krieg. It's like an entire planet that basically fought like a civil war until there was only like a few thousand of them left and just destroyed the entire world. So yeah, they're pretty tough people. Motocross Cooper said the Hollywood people are actually so self-centered and obsessed with identity, they likely haven't genuinely connected with any character, not mirroring the superficial characteristics of their identity. Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it. The problem is it's filtering down into regular people as well. Like it's almost being encouraged now with like younger people. You know, if you don't see someone who looks and talks and thinks exactly like you on screen, then you're underrepresented and you should feel aggrieved. And it's like, yeah, this is not how imagination works usually.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we're teaching people to feel that way too at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like if you don't feel victimized in some way, then you've got a hole in your life and you need to find something.
It's kind of the whole magic of storytelling, dare I say, as lame as that sounds, that you were supposed to, they like, you know, here is an apple, you put a little smiley face on him, and then legs and then arms, and then he goes on a little adventure in the fruit bowl or something. It's like he learned about being, you know, don't trust strangers for kids, and then some kid is just like, that's an apple though, that's not me.
Yeah.
And the teacher's like, yeah, yes, true. Like the apple is not you.
Yeah, it's narcissism, really, isn't it?
It feels
Like
that way.
to think that you have the right to be included in every story, that you're that important, that you should be the center of every narrative. It's like, you're not. You can just project yourself into these other characters that were part of this story. White Knight Leo said, do not get the audiobook of World War Z. Whole chapters were removed for censorship reasons. Oh, for fuck's sake. Only read the book, which is fantastic. What could you remove from World War Z that would need to be censored? I mean, I'm genuinely thinking here because, well, I mean, there's nothing like particularly political in it. There's nothing like racist or anything like that in it. I don't know what it would be. It's just people fighting zombies for chapter after chapter, told from different perspectives. Yeah, that's weird. All right. Yeah. I think I know what they're getting at, because there's a whole aspect to it where like it's spread globally through organ smuggling. Yeah, there that explains it. Yeah, read the book. It is good though. Motocross Cooper said regular people can relate and connect with an array of different characters because they're not obsessed with identity or desperate for validation. But Hollywood believes that's impossible because it's impossible for them. There you go. Yeah, pretty much nails it.
Is that the apple, man? Everyone connects with the apple.
You've got to use that analogy in a video at some point, man. Raven K said, hello, drinker, former army medic here. Got my ass kicked picking a fight I shouldn't have, but damn it, booze. I've done things most people will live their whole lives without. No regrets here. All hell. Fucking good on you, man. Nice one. Trenton Quinn said, no one is going to make the obvious dog whistle joke with Fluffy. Fuck, what were we talking about when that came up?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I hate when this happens. Black Sun said, P.S. took me an hour of editing the last message because all of the random super chat blocks. I can't even say your performer name. I hate YouTube. That sucks. What the fuck?
Oh, like they don't let you put in drinker? Is that?
Well, they clearly do, because other people have called me drinker.
I would have thought so. Yeah.
Chats. That's weird.
Critical. They must allow that. I don't know.
Yeah. Crit Dre. I don't know. You can spin it down a little bit. Space Monkey said Alex Jones was right. Check memology. Yeah, apparently he did. In October last year, he predicted a Russian invasion of Ukraine in February, and he's fucking right. What kind of weird world are we living in?
Yeah, I saw the clip. He's had a couple of them now, right?
I think even Shoeonhead was like, fuck, I'm living in a world now where more and more Alex Jones things are being proved right. It's
Alex
like,
Jones is more reliable than mainstream. Who would have known?
I know. Ian Carell said, guys, please look up the YouTube channel John Carey P. I think you'll love what they have on there. You ever heard of that at all?
Say it again, just in case I misheard.
John Carey P. I'm just gonna look for it now.
I don't think so.
Let's see. So, a lot of memes and stuff he produces. Yeah. Okay. Drunk Frodo. Yeah, it's a meme. It's a meme channel basically. I'll have a look at that later. Night Ninja said, "Watched Nobody last night. Definition of always be the most capable man in the room or the grey man." Yeah, I like Nobody. It's a good fun movie.
I agree.
The director actually put a message on my review of it, saying that he liked my analogy of like it basically being like a burger and a beer of movies, and he's glad I enjoyed it, which was pretty fucking chill of him. Like,
yeah, that's really awesome.
Jesus or Jesus Davila said, or gave me a thumbs up. Cheers, mate. Just Mike said, "Gay Punisher. He punishes gays." Okay.
Gay Punisher.
Anthony Green, are you following James Lindsay's new Discourses podcast? He decodes everything. Spoiler, he's Hegel. No, I'm not. I'm not too aware of him. Decay79 says representation stuff is just stupid as fuck. I just want a decent movie or series. I follow politics to discuss that, and I watch movies for entertainment. I think that's kind of how we all feel, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just want to be entertained. It's not too much to ask. Darkly Noon said, "Evening chaps, season 4 of The Sinner has male overreach, body positive, black lesbian, and racism to Asians, all crammed into the first 5 minutes. For fuck's sake, I switched off. Love you guys." Yeah, you're giving me lots of reasons not to watch in that case, man. But thank you very much. Carlos Batista said, "The Proud Family reboot sucks." I'll take your word for it. Matt Mail is a practical solution to all of this decentralization of content production. As cams drop in price and increase in quality, Hollywood's stranglehold weakens as the people's voice is finally heard. I mean, ultimately, you can make a little bit of a dent, I suppose, but you'll never take on like mainstream movies in terms of like, you know, taking their market away from them. I guess what I'm trying to say here is like there's a general audience that's just always going to mindlessly go to the cinema one way or another. But
yeah, I mean, it seems like No Way Home woke up that audience, right? Because like a lot of films weren't getting the audiences that we were used to, and we all assumed it was pandemic. But that film, what is it, number 3 domestically now of all time?
Yeah, it's
insane.
Like what, 1.7, 1.8 billion. I mean, those are pre-pandemic numbers. You know, that would be a great showing for any Marvel Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it just proves to us like what we've had over the past year in terms of movies has mostly just been shite. That's why people haven't wanted to see it.
I'd like to believe that that's the reason, though. A lot of people will like, and I don't even mean this to be mean, but there's a lot of people out there who just watch movies and don't care whether or not they're good or bad or whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, the only way we're going to get better movies is if more people care.
Yep. I think that kind of the bottom of the barrel now is like Netflix movies or Amazon movies, really, like any streaming service that produces their own films.
Man, have you seen
or distributes them? Because
Bruce Willis ones?
No, I can't bring myself to do it.
Like, I watched Red Letter Media cover it. I had no idea that was happening. It's like this weird industry of he gets paid a very large amount, and then they hope to just. I think they don't even know how much of a profit they even make. I think they make something back, but he'll like film for like a day, and the scenes will be incredibly shit, poorly acted, and just like stapled into the film where it wouldn't make any much sense at all. And like most of the film will be done with a double from the back.
Yep.
and you just have random lines just cut in. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, that's what he's been doing for like the past 2 years, just making that, because he's in like 15 of these things.
I have heard about this, yeah, and yeah, that was my understanding as well. He would show up for a day or two of filming, just absolutely phone it in, and collect his paycheck, and then fuck off.
Yeah,
Just so that they can put his name and his face on the front cover and try and get a bit more interest. And
because
it just pisses me off because it's like, you're Bruce Willis. It's not like you need
yeah,
the money now.
I don't get it. He's always like, I remember phoning it in to mean that you were in a movie that like still gets a known and a release, but like now this is like the bottom of the barrel. I don't even know how you could do worse than this.
Yeah, at least like, Nicolas Cage has got the same kind of output of movies. Starring in like 6 or 7 films a year, but like he's actually in it. And as garbage as most of them are, like he's there giving his full Nick Cage performance. He's not phoning it in for like a day shooting, in a cameo role.
Yeah, and
Um,
you'll get some that are just bangers. Like the amount of people who've recommended Pig, I still haven't seen it, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that is one of those ones. And then of course there's Willy's Wonderland. You watched that, right?
yeah. That's you've got to be in the right frame of mind to watch it. But if you get kind of drunk or high or whatever, like that movie's a blast. Watch it with a couple of mates as well. You'll have a great laugh with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the point I was just going to make there about when I was talking about Netflix movies is they're not even like shit Hollywood films. They're films that they're designed to not even be watched. Essentially, they're designed
Yeah.
to be put on in the background while you fuck around with your phone or like read a book or something. Like they're just noise to keep you kind of occupied.
It
That
feels
is
really
like,
weird to have entered that era where there is a market for just not films at all. Films that if you even tried to pay attention, like I don't even know if there's a point in reviewing those kinds of films.
yeah, it's almost at that level now. Um, yeah, that's what we end up with. That's where we're at. um, Human Kirk said, and the American adaptation of, oh sorry, no, I missed one before. Um, Daniel Rockstar said, how did you guys feel about MLK in Fortnite? What the fuck? Um,
Do you not know about
no, was it playing a video of him or something in it?
that? Yeah, his "I Have a Dream" speech was like playing in Fortnite while everyone's like dancing and jumping around, and it was just like, oh god, this is yeah, just several articles like this is a disaster. It's like, how did you not expect it to be a disaster? Like what were you doing? Fortnite will treat this with respect, of course.
Was this was this during the peaceful protests and stuff?
I don't remember. Was it? I was gonna say, was it Black History Month of last year? Maybe I can't remember. It was a
Because I
while ago though.
remember, I do remember seeing in Fortnite, like, because there's arenas where there's just like a giant TV screen that you can kind of move around and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like two sociology experts, I guess, basically just ranting about civil rights in America, while people were like just jumping around and shooting and stuff. It's
Man,
just the most insane garbage.
see, for
Uh,
for my generation, we were just fucking ripping into each other while playing Halo and COD and stuff. And but this generation gets to enjoy. Do you remember fucking the Emperor Palpatine announced he was alive in Fortnite? Do you know
Apparently,
that?
yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it?
What the hell? And then they had the stupid Thor was playing Fortnite in Endgame. It was like, oh god, kill.
Yeah, this is this is our culture. Anyway, I can't stop. I can't talk about this anymore. I'm actually going to lose the will to live. The more I think about this. Human Kirk said, and the American adaptation of Red Dwarf replaced Lister with a white guy and Cat with a white woman. Yeah, I did hear about this. They went through various iterations of this, and I felt so bad for Craig Charles because they took Robert Llewellyn over to be Crichton because he was just going to be in prosthetics. Then I think they brought over Chris Barry to either be Rimmer or some variation of him. And I think even like the cat got taken over at one point, and like Craig Charles was the only one that they didn't want. And it's like, no, we have to have a new Lister. It's like, fuck's sake.
Oh,
Yeah, but I that never got beyond the pilot, did it? It was just absolute fail. But yeah, there's a crazy thought, eh? Like there's Red Dwarf fans in America who didn't need to see American versions of their favorite characters. It's like, yeah, they could identify with them without them being from the same country. Who would have
the
thought?
American remake of like so many comedy. Do you ever see the IT Crowd one?
No.
God, it was painful. The worst.
See,
thing ever.
I didn't mind the American remake of The Office because after
I
the
love that
first
show.
season, yeah, like they obviously tried to follow the formula a bit more in the first season, and then kind of realized, yeah, this isn't working. Like
Let's
we
just
kind
do
of
our
want to
own
go in a
thing.
different. Yeah, and now when I look at it, I'm like, God, it's actually. I'm not going to say it's better necessarily, but like I would rather watch the American version than the British version because the British one's so fucking bleak,
Yeah.
and the characters are so fucking unlikable. And you compare someone like Tim from the British Office to like Jim from the American one, and like Jim's like genuinely like laid back and cool and likable. Like Tim's just an absolute fucking charisma vacuum. It's
Yeah,
weird.
because that seemed to be the track that Ricky Gervais had created, which is just extremely awkward. Everything is constantly awkward as fuck. Everything's goal is that. But The Office US has a lot of humanity in it. It's really endearing. And yeah, I think that worked out really well.
Michael Scott in particular, I guess Steve Carell realized quite quickly, like, I can't be that Ricky Gervais kind of character. I can't be David Brent, and I don't want to be. And so they took him in a completely different direction and gave him like one of the best character arcs I think you could get in a show like that. No, it was really good stuff. Adam Wofford says, hey, have you guys seen the poster for Interview with the Vampire for AMC channel setting in the mid 1700s? Can you guess what is wrong with it? I haven't seen it, no. I would imagine there's either a lot of diversity or like the characters have been gender swapped or something. GeoFry3 said, pint. Thank you, sir. Straight, simple, direct, and to the point. Chris said, the Russian ruble is now 0.01 for every US dollar compared to Roblox's Robux, which is 0.012 for every US dollar. So the ruble is now worth less than a Robux. That's fucking awesome. Yeah, that's just going to keep sliding, I guess, because they're completely cut out the global financial system now. Well, you get what you fucking deserve, I guess. GigaChat says, Gundam, I'm in your house. We're out of Chex Mix. Well, what can you do, eh? I'm sure he's on it. J-Mac said, it's funny, the same people who made fun of Todd Phillips for his comments about not being able to make an irreverent comedy like Hangover anymore proved him right by calling for Chappelle's deplatforming. Hopefully people can start calling this crap out and we can get good media again. Yeah, that would be nice.
I don't know why anybody questioned that he was wrong on that statement. It's like, of course they can't make something like The Hangover today. Like it's all really crude. Like they're not allowed to. It's as simple as that. But as he said as well, Todd Phillips, you have to sneak movies into movies now. Like Joker was sneaking what do you describe it as, a real movie being sneaked into a superhero movie or something like that.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, actually. And it's a bit sad that that's what they have to resort to get films like that commissioned, because like that probably came down to a pretty narrow decision. Unfortunately, they went for it.
A WB would kind of treat it as like a throwaway, wouldn't they? It's like you can have this budget, you can fuck off and do your thing. Hopefully it'll work out, I guess.
Black Sun said, when you think about it, if actors were able to whiteface or blackface, change look to another race to create more jobs, or that would create more jobs and leave casting determined by skill only. I mean, I suppose so. Like, I guess you can't really do it unless this is Tropic Thunder all over again, you know? Yeah, you could CGI it maybe. I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in a world where like you might have like old as fuck actors that are totally out of shape that don't even have to put any effort in anymore. They just lend their likeness to a film, and the CGI department just does it all for them. Yeah, I want to see real people on screen, I guess. William Fleming says, the Lord of the Rings superfan who said it would be nice to see a character with the same disability as her. There was a soldier on the wall in Helm's Deep missing an eyeball. His name is Hathan, nicknamed One Eye. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that was I guess that was the start of all of that, wasn't it? I didn't quite make the connection there. It's like, yeah, her disability apparently is that she's missing an eye, and so was he. So there we go. Was he queer, though? Who knows?
Who knows?
That was the other big thing she brought up. Liam Hardy says, MauLer, was Tywin Lannister's death character assassination? If so, how?
No, his death is fine on his part. It's fucked on Tyrion's. Tyrion's motivations are all screwed up by the end of season 4 because they didn't follow through with the Taisha storyline, which they started up in season 1, but then they cut it off, and they said that they did that because they didn't have enough time, which makes no fucking sense at all, because it would have taken the same amount of time as what it took for everything else to do it. But yeah, they removed that, and so it screws up his... He's supposed to hate Jaime at that point, but he likes him at that point. Then he's supposed to be compelled to take out Tywin because Tywin screwed up his one chance at love. Meanwhile, in the show, he just goes for Tywin in general. It's one of those things. A lot of people are like, isn't that an adaptation argument? Then it's like the funny thing here is that looking at the adaptation can tell you why it was fucked, because it's fucked on its own. But if you're like, why is it fucked when it follows the story of the book and everyone like that? It's just like, actually, it doesn't. It misses a whole bunch of details that screws it all up. So yeah, Tywin makes it out unscathed because he's mainly just shot at. Everything he says in that scene is mostly in character, but Tyrion is the one that gets fucked.
Okay. Eva Fox said, Arcane talk. Caitlyn's shower scene was the pinnacle of show don't tell storytelling. It perfectly captured Caitlyn's mental and emotional state while building to that crazy cliffhanger. Chef's kiss. Yeah, it was pretty good stuff, all told, I would say. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that in Arcane, where characters, their models are so expressive, the animations are so expressive that they can convey a huge amount just with a look. And I think you get quite a bit of that in the show, so it's great to see. Not a Secret Ninja said, more tax advice, please, I'm being rinsed. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck we got into tax debates the other night. I guess that's the way the conversation went, but yeah, there's nothing like, half a bottle of Jack Daniels in and talking about the intricacies of tax law in the UK. Is fucking fascinating stuff. Alex Kiris said, please, for the love of God, mute Discord notifications. Also, hi, Carl. Yeah, I think someone was pinging during the show. Revo Arvida said, Tom Selleck as Nick Fury. There you go. Low watermark. Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Thanks for the donation. Caveman01 said, Brandon Lee as a crewman in Rust. Yeah. There you go. Sakowski Studios says, what do you all think about Apple's Foundation adaptation? I thought that also suffered from everything you've been talking about. Yeah, people have mentioned this. I've not watched Foundation, so I don't know, man.
I've had it recommended to me and disparaged heavily. I have no idea if it's any good or not.
Have a great night, fellas. I'm about to watch Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Fucking great stuff. I got such a soft spot for that movie. Kevin Costner's an absolute block of wood in it, but I don't care. It's got Brian Blessed in it, so that makes it all good. And Alan Rickman. Yeah. I'm gonna cut your heart out with a spoon. Christopher Jones, what are the odds you think of them fumbling Kenobi? Do you think the future of Star Wars... Yeah. Do you think the future of Star Wars TV shows is mediocre, or can they recapture the glory days of the first 2 Mando seasons? I mean, I think using the word glory to describe Mando is probably a little bit generous, to be fair.
It's been a nightmare this whole time.
I think this is where we're at, though. Like, with Boba Fett, it was like that moment where Mando shows up and everyone gets really excited. I'm like, fucking hell, this mediocre character from a show that like was only notable because it wasn't a complete disaster like the movies were. He's now what people are excited about. Like, he's the guest star.
I swear to God, it's unreal to me because I have no idea what his values are. I really have no clue. 2 seasons. How is that possible?
I
Two
don't
and
know
a
what
half at
anyone
this point.
is. I don't know what Boba Fett is. I don't know what he wants. Don't care really. It's
Also,
just
they didn't
content.
have the balls to separate him from Baby Yoda, huh?
Yeah. I love how they get reunited in the least like emotionally satisfying way possible. It's just like they're in the middle of a chase scene and Yoda's just there in a bag. And he's like, "Oh, hey, you're back, great!" Like now we're getting shot at, and it's a goofy chase scene, and like things are exploding. Just
He
fuck
does
off.
his he does his really shitty delivery. He goes, "What?"
Yeah.
Sees Baby Yoda and he goes, "What?" Come on.
This is it. This is it. Standards are low. They are. Hey, look, it's Mando.
Ugh.
You remember him, don't you? Sigil Stone said, today is also Chris Chan's 40th birthday. Oh, fuck. Happy birthday, Chris. Hope you had a good one. Double Back Again said, drinker is Nick Fury. There we go. I'll take that role.
Hey.
Magnificano said, what a fucking crew. Yeah, it was indeed. Dylan said, drinker recommends Legend of the Drunken Master when? I need to get onto that one. That was Jackie Chan, wasn't it? Tangerine says, Gundam, when will your Cocaine Gundam channel start? I'm sure it's on the way. Chef MCD said, I want to see a biopic about Wilt Chamberlain starring Peter Dinklage as Wilt in the still. What the fuck? Wilt Chamberlain was like a basketball player that was in Conan the Destroyer. He was like 7 feet tall. Yeah, get Dinklage in. Go for it. Daniel Kersey said Exo Squad without question. Not sure what the context is. Sorry. Used to be Cool Hand Luke said, Sargon, 9 out of 10 top grossing films since 2010 were franchise or sequels. I looked it up for a video I'm making every single year, every top 10 highest gross. That is fucking depressing, but I totally believe it. Batman's Pet Goldfish said, fun fact, the 7 Years' War was the real First World War, fighting on the 5 major continents, and it led to the American and French revolutions. I'll take your word for that. Haim Toast said, screenwriters need to quit wrecking real writer stories. Ender's Game, Aragon, The Hobbit, and Ready Player One, great stories all changed into garbage movies. True. Homerostasis says JJ and his brood needs to crawl into his mystery box and disappear forever. He's too big to fail, sadly.
Yeah, man. He's ruining Superman next, right?
Yeah, just failing upwards. Just Mike said J.J. Abrams got George Lucas's sequel trilogy story treatments thrown out. Watch Nerdnonymous video essays. Is that true? I thought it was more like the people at Disney and, like Kennedy and stuff. Maybe it was. I don't know. Kate J says...
I was just quickly thinking, like, there's got to be a lot of people out there who imagine if you rolled the lottery of life and you got access to creating a franchise for Superman, Star Wars, and Star Trek with hundreds of millions behind all of those in your life. Absolutely incredible opportunity. He's gonna fuck them all up. Like,
he's 2 for 2 so far, so he's got a track record.
And that's the thing, people still argue over which one he ruined more. It's like, at least Star Trek is in a different timeline, right? That's what they say.
Hey, it is. Yeah, it's an alternate timeline. But he's the master of coming in, making like a movie that makes a shitload of money because it's just really commercially, like, I guess, appealing, and then fucking off before like the people realize how shit it was. He
didn't get to do that with Rise of Skywalker.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know how they managed to get him to come back. Like, he wasn't under contract, so they just must have given him an insane amount of money. But
maybe some kind of deal was made. I don't know. Maybe promised him something down the line.
Could be, yeah. Like, he gets to make like 3 films of his choice or whatever, and they'll fund it. I mean, it could be. Kate J said, but if we go back in time to kill J.J. Abrams, then he'll never be able to make that awesome reboot of the national anthem. Yeah, okay.
Oh, it's a South Park reference.
Agent Zero said, Papa Gundam, I said it before and I'll say it again. You're a goddamn national treasure, baby. I hope he's watching in that case. But yeah, thanks, man. Zeos386 said, Joss Whedon was a mistake.
He made some stuff that was good.
Yeah, it's just, damn, what a fall from grace. It's like
Especially what he said as a response to all the shit that happened. Did you read through that? That was a ride.
I didn't read the whole thing, but man, I got some of the highlights, and you know, he's obviously had a long time to think about this as well. You'd think he could have come up with something better.
There was no strategy. It seemed to me like he's given up and he's just talking. That's just him talking out loud, and that's what he's got to say. Moving on, because I think he must have realized there's just no coming back. It's done.
Yeah. Psychic Girl said Netflix Witcher absolutely butchered the dialogue of the books as well. Everyone talked like a child who just discovered cursing. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with The Witcher.
I hate that shit, man. In mature content where everyone's just saying the F word over and over and over because so
edgy,
mature.
MauLer. It's edgy. Motocross Cooper said they're going to unintentionally create basically a pigeon Elven. So is this like pigeon English but for Elvish? I don't know. Steve John said, I'm a UK based, but a lot of my colleagues are in Kiev right now. They're lovely people, and this is not really a laughing matter. The West needs to step up and help. Yeah, it's not funny. I don't think any of us would make, or I don't think any of us intended to make light of it the other night. Yeah, I guess we can't intervene militarily right now, so I guess we're relegated to just sanctions and sending aid
and commentary.
Yeah. Homerostasis said, I was in Afghanistan 2004 and Iraq 2006. Ukraine has me very conflicted, to say the least. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I can't imagine there'd be much of an appetite to send American troops over there. Yeah, it's nobody would over there, I guess, would want to get involved in a foreign war yet again. Sir Clive Calculator says Trump negotiates with Putin, Putin withdraws, Trump re-elected. Yeah. Batman's Pet Goldfish says the great thing about the phrase "why die for Donbass" is that you can take either side of the argument. That is very true. Daniel Rockstar says, if I was Putin with that hairline and forehead, I'd start World War III too. He's got his bears to ride around on them. Yeah. The Ubergeek says Ukraine hasn't had nukes since 1994. OMG Puppies said, contrary side, America engineered the 2014 coup d'etat. They led Ukraine on path to destruction by antagonizing Russia and pushing it to become nuclear-armed NATO member. Strategically, Russia can't let that happen. I mean,
I see this as the political part of the stream.
Yeah, we did launch into it a bit there. I mean, I'll read the super chats out. Like, these are not my opinions, but I'll be fair to the people that posted them. So, and then get my stream demonetized, I'm sure.
Yay.
Batman's Pet Goldfish said, to be fair, Americans wanted to stay out of World War I and World War II until it got bad. In other words, how we feel about it now won't matter in the long run. Bethesda's Lore Master said, pretty easy to offer up another country's men and women to fight Sargon. Songbird, Papa Gundam is when the world war woke stream on Twitch happening. We all need a laugh in light of recent events. Also, I'm planning to build a miniatures diorama of rats attacking your bike. Curdy. There we go. We got it back on track. Oh, no, here we go. Charles Hurst says, back to war. There's a number of land approaches into Russia, 11, I think. 4 of them go through Ukraine, and Russia has long sought to maintain control of them. I mean, isn't there like an infinite number of ways to get into Russia? Like, it's pretty enormous.
It's a big boy.
Yeah. Motocross Copper says, I'm a US Marine and an Iraq war vet. The problem I have is, at this point, America over the past decades has invaded 10 times as many countries for less justified reasons. We don't have the moral high ground on this one. Fair play. Carpal Tumble says, you think the shadowy intelligences behind this degeneration of culture would learn a thing or two from the communists they love so much. Too bad. And JS Pena says, still haven't uploaded the Super Chat catch-up for Open Bar 10. I'm wondering if I've still got that, you know. I feel like I might have lost that. We obviously did the Super Chat catch-up. And normally I re-upload everything to my second channel.
Do you you didn't delete it from your channel, did you? Or
shouldn't have really. Give me a second to have a look. I don't see it on my original channel on my live content list. Yeah, like once the stream's over, I'll see if I've downloaded it. I mean, yeah, like I say, normally I'm pretty pretty organized about that, about always like taking it, downloading it, and re-uploading it and stuff. I wonder if I've perhaps lost that one. But if it is anywhere, I will find it and re-upload it. All right. Let me just see if I can bring up, because I've come away from the super chat list. So just give me a second.
Yep.
All right, come on, refresh. Talk amongst yourselves for a few seconds while I'm fucking around with this. There we go. Yeah, so the Outcasts Creative says, how many of us can fit in the drinker bunker? Well, there's one way to find out. Drinks are on me.
Pile in.
Yeah, let's just have a nice big party in there. Daniel Gillespie 2020s says, Avatar 2, should we have high hopes? No, you probably shouldn't. Yeah, I can't see much good coming out of that. Retro Reister Gaming says, are movies ever going to be great again, or are they destined to be garbage? I think you're always going to get a mix, aren't you? Like, there is always going to be good movies. It's just how much attention they get and how much budget they get.
Yeah.
You know, they're the ones that we tend to review, just because they're out in movie theaters and they get the bulk of the attention, are just like the tip of the iceberg in terms of the movie industry. And yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe just have to start moving down a little bit more to get the better stuff. I will try and find it. I'll do my best.
This minute, I just gotta go sort out real quick. I should be back like in 5 minutes.
No problem, man.
Right back.
Joshua Levesque says, evening, Drinker and MauLer. Are you seeing the Batman soon? I will be indeed, yeah. As soon as it comes out, I'll get to that. Retro Reister Gaming says, you know what old Jack Burton says during a time like the Russian invasion? I got pretty sure it goes along the lines of, what the hell? When is Extraction 2, actually? That's a good question. I like the first one. Yeah, I never cared about the first Avatar. Harryhausen was better than CGI. Yeah, you got to love that stop motion animation. But yeah, I never cared much about the first one either. It's got this total killer rep. Like, oh man, it was so great. How can the next one possibly measure up? It's like it wasn't that good to begin with. Yeah, there you go. Fight inside the bunker. Yeah, we'll watch movies and get drunk. It'll be great. I can't wait for the apocalypse. Felix Rodier says, hey, Drinker, would you like to see the return of genres such as westerns or historical epics? Also, have you seen The Raid? Yes, I have. I recommend. Cheers. Yeah, I've seen both the Raid movies. Love them both. Great fighting, great choreography. Yeah, so genres, yeah, I would actually, because pretty much the only genre that's been a staple for the past 20 years or so has been superheroes, and I'm getting pretty fucking tired of them. Not going to lie. I could do with something else. So, yeah, I definitely see westerns making a comeback. That'd be great. Razor999 says, I'm with you on almost everything, but Lower Decks is awesome. Any chance for rebooted review? I don't know, man. I just can't bring myself to watch that Star Trek shit now. Not the modern stuff. Yeah, when I did my review, I was just kind of given my impressions of the trailer and what I thought the show would ultimately be, like my predictions. So I don't know if I can go back to watch it. Daniel Monroe said, evening, Drinker and MauLer. Hope I can save you some valuable time. Don't watch the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's damned embarrassing. That's good enough for me. I got better things to watch. Leandro Johan says, how long until we see a black trans woman's journey as a Ukrainian soldier into the front of the Russian war? There we go. Yeah, I saw it today on Twitter. It was like a meme someone had made, and it was just like this black woman stood next to a fighter jet, and it was like a Netflix original, The Ghost of Kiev. I could totally see that happening as well. Dox Akos said, hey Drinker, what do you think about the classic old slashers? We'd like to hear your thoughts on franchises like Halloween and Scream, for example. By the way, great work. Love your channel. Thank you very much, my dudes. And yeah, I do. I like them. There's a lot of fun to be had with those old school like 80s slashers. Yeah, like perfect example, obviously, is the Halloween movies, the Friday the 13th, the Halloween, like you just mentioned. And yes, Scream was great. I've been meaning to review the first Scream movie for ages, just because I think it's like quite an interesting film with what we have today. It kind of blazed that trail of like self-aware satire kind of movies that had just enough like seriousness to them to keep you invested. Black Sun says, we laugh and review modern bad movies, but we should not watch them because if they keep getting reviews, they keep on making. Don't watch Rings of Power. That's it, yeah. I mean, we kind of watch them so we can review them, but, you know, hopefully to some extent we can influence people a little bit. And if it's something genuinely shit that's just, you know, shouldn't even be watched, I would just say so and make my recommendation, I suppose. Slumber Party Massacre, there you go. Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah, gotta love Freddy. Will G's said, watch The Admiral Roaring Currents. It's definitely worth a drinker's extra shots. A Korean film about Admiral Yi Sun Shin in 1597. Takes time to build a real hero with an awesome naval battle. So that'd be like proper old-timey sailing ships then. Nice one. Quinn the Q says, are you a Farscape fan? Thoughts? I am, absolutely. And I've already reviewed one of the episodes that just was a personal favorite of mine. You can find that on my second channel. But yeah, Farscape was a great show back in the day. Really quirky, really inventive, really different, just great character work. And I really loved like John and Aaron and their relationship. I thought, you know, Ben Broder and Claudia Black were great together. So yeah, great stuff. OMG Puppies said, James Doohan, Scotty, claims he was imitating an Aberdeen accent. Was it terrible? Yeah, it was. It doesn't conform to any Scottish accent I've ever heard. Factoid, half his hand was blown off in landings at Normandy Beach, always kept hidden in his scenes. Yeah, I remember reading that about him. Got hit by machine gun fire. I think he got hit in the leg and lost a couple of fingers in his left hand, I think. So yeah, but he hit it pretty well. Like unless you were specifically looking for it, you'd never see it. The other one I'd never realized until recently was Boris Yeltsin. He lost half of one of his hands. When he was a kid, he was playing with hand grenades, and one of them went off and blew off like his thumb and a couple of his fingers. And again, he always kept it hidden, so you never really saw it. But then when someone pointed it out to me and I saw it in pictures, I was like, "Holy shit! What the fuck?"
Hello.
But yeah, childhoods in Russia playing with hand grenades, fucking awesome.
That's the thing to get back on.
Yeah. No, someone was just mentioning that Scotty from Star Trek, like the actor, had lost a couple of fingers in one of his hands because he was in Normandy, like for the D-Day landings, which is pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, anyway, next one was Taker 610 says, if Scots and Welsh team up, they can take London. I think we could do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Film it, make a movie.
Yeah. We should head to Hollywood, actually, and just take over there.
We can team up the names, call it the Squelch.
There we go. Squelch.
Very appealing team name.
Welshland. Not Your Friend Pal says, curious if you ever get into 40k lore, the Horus Heresy. I mean, joking aside, yeah, I think it's fucking great. Like the lore behind it is awesome. Tabletop games are pretty lame, but the books are amazing. It seems tailor-made for a Hollywood mega franchise. Curious why they haven't tried it yet. Because it's not diverse enough. I think if you tried to adapt 40k into a movie now, there's no fucking way you'd be able to make it work. A says, have you seen The Devil All the Time? I highly recommend. Love your work. I haven't seen that.
I want to see it. Tom Holland's in it, and apparently he's very different from how we know him to be usually, which is enough for me to be interested.
Ghost in the Craig, you inspire me, and I drink. Perfect. P.S. Watch Attack on Titan. I will. Party Pucks gave me $2 Canadian. Thanks, man. AMH Matters says, Drinker, the world is a better place with your content in it. What's a favorite movie of yours that you think might surprise us? I mean, I've been through so many of my favorite movies thus far, and I don't know, it doesn't seem to have been too many surprises so far. Nobody's been like, nah, this thing's fucking garbage. So I seem to be doing all right with this thus far. Yeah, any ones that I haven't mentioned yet? I kind of want to save them until I actually review them. Yeah, can I hold back on that one? Winnie the Churchill said, can highly recommend True Detective Season 1 if you need an extra shots episodes. Love what you do. Yeah, cheers, man. We were talking about this last time I did a Q&A stream. A lot of people recommended Season 1. I watched the odd episode, like kind of dipped in and out of it, but didn't kind of get fully invested. Train to Busan, best zombie movie.
I mean, it is up there. Shaun of the Dead is competition, I suppose, and a few others, you know.
28 Days Later is pretty good. What's the next one? Black Sun. You ever played Super Nintendo RPGs like Earthbound and Final Fantasy VI? I'm still convinced Stranger Things is based on Earthbound and Final Fantasy VI is better than 7. I disagree with you on that one, man. I did play Final Fantasy VI a bit, but after 7, it's like I was curious about the Final Fantasy series, so I was able to go back and play it. Didn't complete it though, so I can't vouch for the ending, but yeah, I was more gripped by 7. I like the aesthetics of it more. Obviously, you know, it's on a different system, so the graphics were going to be like worlds apart. But yeah, Earthbound's, that's like an alien invasion thing, isn't it? I remember it vaguely.
The NES game, or we're talking about something else now?
The NES game, yeah.
Yeah. I never played them.
Yeah, that was one I was less familiar with, but I'm pretty sure it's like aliens land, and you've got to kind of mooch around your town finding like clues about what's been going on and stuff. Dragovin08 says, hey Drinker, I'm not sure if you're into Chinese cinema, but watched a movie called Shaolin. Highly recommend it. Great characters, good fight scenes, and a powerful message about redemption. Sounds all right to me. Board license plate says, God creates dinosaurs, God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man, man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs, dinosaurs eat man, woman inherits the earth. Yep. Nice little line from Ellie there. She really should have said dinosaurs destroy man rather than eat man, just to keep it consistent. And that always pissed me off even back then. Never mind. Party Pucks says, since you like Blade Runner, surprised you don't know about Blade Runner Black Lotus. MauLer, can you fill him in? Can you quick review the trailer? What is this?
For what Black Lotus, sorry?
Blade Runner Black Lotus.
Why do they think I would fill you in on that? I'm not actually sure what that is.
Wait, hold on, let me have a look. What the fuck is it? Japanese. Oh, okay. So, yeah, so it's a Japanese-American anime television series based on the Blade Runner franchise. I have never fucking heard of that in my life.
I was saying, I don't think I've heard of that.
It's not got great reviews. Yeah, on IMDb it's got like 3 stars, so, and that's with like 1,700 votes. Seems to be kind of middling. I don't know, man. But yeah, genuinely didn't even know that existed, so there you go. Ghost in the Craig says, cheers, man. We all appreciate the work you do and the lines you cross. If it wasn't for you and the fam at FNT and EFAP, we'd all be going mad. Thank you. And thanks for joining MauLer A+ co-host.
Oh,
there you go. Thanks,
Hey.
man. Echo Chamberlain, can you dispatch Tatiana back home to Kiev so she can do her bit as a partisan, spreading as much Hep C through the Russian lines as her fading feminine charms and stamina will allow? Her charms are not fading and her stamina is strong. But yeah, she's needed here, sadly. Black Sun says, saw a black chick in armor on a horse giving orders in Vikings Valhalla. So guess I'm not watching, but have you seen the OG Vikings History channel? Thoughts? I haven't watched all of it. I've just, like, people have shown me scenes from it, like, watch this YouTube video, like the most gory bits, and it looked fucking awesome. But yeah, I've talked about this before. I never really got into Vikings. It kind of passed me by at the time, and I guess I've been too lazy to pick it up now. But man, I do kind of like that era, and I'd like to kind of know more about it. So it seems like the perfect show, I guess. I've just got to find the time for it. But yeah, I don't know much about Vikings Valhalla. I guess that's their new show. I love Scotch. Said Interstellar original leaked script. If made as it would have been great. They changed the main character from a boy to a girl and more science scenes, etc. Okay.
I don't know anything about that.
Trabuco81 says, drinker, bastion of quality movies and drinks. What's your favorite movie that is way off from mainstream audiences, i.e. like Birdman? I mean, in terms of like way off mainstream. So this is the tricky one. Like I watched like Hunt for the Wilder People. Because I went on a bit of a Taika Waititi like run for a little while, and absolutely loved that. But then that got loads of press and loads of coverage, so it's kind of not off the mainstream. And then, yeah, I'm just trying to think of other ones that are kind of obscure. See, most of the obscure movies that I've enjoyed have just been like so bad they're good kind of things, so I just enjoy them for that. But yeah, I don't think I can really come up with anything right now that's way off base that I haven't mentioned already, like in previous reviews or whatever.
Have I forced you to watch The Hunt yet from 2012?
No.
That's definitely not going to have mainstream appeal, but it's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
The Hunt.
Yeah. 2012. Mads Mikkelsen's the protagonist. It's a Danish film, I think.
Right. Right. A teacher lives a lonely life while struggling over his son's custody.
I would not just go off my recommendation. Don't find anything out about it.
Right. Okay. No, that's fair dues. What next one? Bug versus Windshield says woke movies today are a lot like what wokeism is all about. Pure freaking magic that sells. Reality is gone in movies. Well, certainly, like because there's such a heavy emphasis on superhero movies at the moment. Yeah, you're not getting it. What else? Andy Green said, "Team America: World Police 2. Let's make it happen." I would love that, but with the same sensibilities as the first one.
I was about to say, oof, making that today, be like, I don't know how
There would have to there'd have to be a guarantee that it gets to be as offensive as it wants. That's the only way you could do it. Black Sun says, Pep's telling you Batman ranking. I say do Joker ranking. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, people wanted me to do just like I did with the Bond actors, like do a breakdown of like all the actors that have played Batman and stuff and rank them, which I'd quite like to do actually. Same thing with Superman, I suppose.
Don't you dare put Clooney on the bottom.
I mean, there's not many I could put beneath him. Like, in Somatic 101 says, "Hey guys, what's your favorite trilogy of all time? Lord of the Rings, OG Star Wars, Dark Knight, Godfather, etc." I'll go with Lord of the Rings because all three movies were phenomenal. I'd like to hear both your thoughts. Cheers.
I mean, Lord of the Rings is probably going to be the pick for me, but does the Cornetto trilogy count as a pick?
I mean, they're kind of in like disconnected stories, but like thematically, they're all kind of tied together just by the same tropes and everything. So yeah, you could probably go with that. I might be tempted by Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Just got such a soft spot for it, and I love the characters. I love the premise. I remember watching the shit out of it when I was a kid. Tyler Turner says, MauLer, favorite Buffy episode aside from Once More with Feeling.
How did you know that was the name for the initials there?
I just kind of twigged, I guess,
Oh, for a second.
because I know that's kind of a famous episode.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know how many people do know, but yeah, that probably would have been my pick had they not excluded it. That's a tough one for me because there's loads of them. The body's obviously one of the ones that comes up, but it's really weird to describe that episode as a favorite when it's just trauma, basically. There's a couple from like The Gift. That's the finale for season 5. Finale to season 6. I really don't like you've excluded Once More with Felix. It's my easy answer. When you exclude that one, it gets all hard because I don't know exactly where I'm gonna. Though I would say the body might be what I would just say is one of the best, if not the best episode. Yeah, someone just mentioned Passion. I love that episode as well. There's I would rather go by season at that point. Hush, I think they meant to say, yeah, it's another cool one. There's a lot of good ones, but hopefully that selection's all right. And if you do an Angel, it's going to be Hole in the World, Not Fade Away, and Smile Time, which all come from season 5 because it's the fucking banger season.
I'm so shit with episode titles, so I'd probably default to like, oh, the one where blah blah blah
Yeah.
this happens. No, that's fair dues, man. RRTNZ said, Hail Drinker, Shmee MauLer. How about stream video on movie Batman after new film comes out? Ranking is tough as they vary more wildly than the Bonds. Yeah, I'm interested in doing this for sure. Sam Williams said, Hi Drinker, I always had thoughts on February that I didn't think anyone else shared, and then I see on Twitter that you feel the same. Yeah, February's the worst fucking month. Hate it. You read my mind. Also, will you or MauLer ever review Ozark? Do you have any thoughts on it?
I've seen a lot of people talking about it here and there and recommending it, but I'm very unaware of what it even is.
Yeah, I probably won't get around to it if I'm being 100% honest. There's so much else. Taker610 says, The Verge says Elden Ring's character creation fails black players. Sad trombone plays. Is there a strong story in Elden Ring, MauLer?
You're dealing with the same shit as the other games where the story is pieces you may find from characters talking to you very vaguely, descriptions of items that are like, this was the blanket worn by the ancient lady who wove it, blah, blah, and you're just like, what? And it's like, she defeated the giant snake lord, Ugamanesh, and you're like, oh, no, I still don't know who that is. And you're like, okay. And, so I'm sure what you need to wait for is VatiVidya or other channels to put together all the pieces and then they can tell you what the story is. I have no fucking clue what the story is. I really don't. I play it because of the mechanics. I really enjoy them.
But do you feel like the character creation screen fails black players? Can you not make your character black?
I am. So a really funny comparison was someone was telling me like Shad spent I think 30-40 minutes in his character creator for that game, just going through everything and getting all right and stuff. I literally was like, yeah, just a guy, that's fine. Like, just move right along.
Well, he was doing that on stream, just like spending half an hour like fiddling with his character. Shit,
a
man.
lot of people do that and they love it. That's totally fair. I just couldn't give less of a shit. I'm just like, get me my armor and I'll go in. I'll just start killing shit.
See, when I'm playing, like I always feel like under pressure to like progress through the game as quickly as humanly possible because I'm like, people get bored if I'm fart arsing about for too long. You know, just picking up items or investigating things. You know.
I think his stream's nature was like judging the aesthetic of everything. You know, so
okay.
maybe it made more sense that way.
Tennessee Tism said the Lord of the Rings talk last time made me think of a movie you might enjoy called The Devil Rides Out from 1968. It features a satanic cult, a giant spider, and Christopher Lee as the hero. Check out the film. I feel like I've seen that. It sounds familiar when you're describing it there. I have to think about that later. Striker24 says, Drinker review Neil Breen, also Ellie's gay, by the way. Yay, classic. Mitch Bolischuk says, "Love that you got around to Dark City." Yeah, finally. A classic. I love that it ends with John, although a superhuman, having no knowledge of Earth or what their original lives were. Like, what do they do next? I did wonder that, yeah, because it seems like kind of a bleak ending where, like, things are slightly better, but the place is still under the command of someone else, and they're still stranded out in the middle of like the vastness of space. But yeah, nice inventive film. I liked Dark City.
Yeah, crazy ideas, awesome.
SQ Obfuscations gave me a $50 super sticker. Thank you very much, my friend. The Last King of Scotland said, "Have you checked out the show Succession on HBO Max? It's the best show in television." No, I haven't. I've heard a lot about it though.
I'm watching someone talk about the shows they've been watching, and they like summed up a whole bunch from the past like 2 years, and they got to Arcane. You know, like excellent show, top notch. Though I think this. It's like, you know, I'll give it like a 9. And I was like, yeah, okay, that makes no sense to me. And then they were like, Succession. Yeah, I watched this, you know, because a lot of people recommended it. Very engaged with it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm looking forward to season 2. 10 out of 10. Anyway, and I was like, what the fuck? 10 out of like, just, oh, okay. A lot of people have rated it highly as fuck, so I'd be interested in seeing that. Yeah.
Nice. Tatsunami said, "You smooth, slick Brits are awesome. Thank you very much." AIA says, "Have either of you seen The Devil All the Time or Never Let Me Go? Love you all's work." Yeah, well, I think we were discussing earlier. We've not seen Devil All the Time, but apparently it's an intriguing role for Tom Holland. So, Nick Janke says, "What is your favorite movie in the past 10 years?" So, what is your favorite movie for the past 10 years?
There's a couple that, you know, speak like, so The Father for me is one of the big ones. 2019 had quite a few. So you include Joker, Marriage Story, Ford v Ferrari. Then you know, if we're talking strict favorites, just for enjoyability, it's like Far From Home, No Way Home rather, was a lot of fun and kind of surreal. You know, having the 3 Spider-Men from different franchises all teaming up. It's just like there's still people who are just like, how the hell did that happen? It's like, I mean, they wanted to make money. Like, so this is a good way to do it.
To do something like that and make it work was a pretty impressive feat. And yeah, still quite pleased with how they managed to pull it off. That was good stuff. Yeah, when people ask my favorite movies, it's always like, oh, do I pick something like very arty, like The Lighthouse or something? You know, or can I just go by like just something I just had a total blast with? It's a tricky one. Like, yeah, Joker was obviously a kind of real pick. I really enjoyed Jojo Rabbit. That was something like I only got around to seeing recently, but just made a real impression on me. That was just really well done film.
I
And
remember. I
it's
think I ended up watching that because of the trailer. I was just like, "What the fuck is this movie? A kid's imaginary friend is Hitler. How have you even made this?" Like, and then I was just intrigued.
the trailer, yeah, put me off for a long time for a similar
Oh,
reason. I was like, this just seems like a total farce. Like, what the fuck is this? And yeah, like when you actually watch the film, you realize it's something very, very different from what the trailer kind of
I think
suggests.
I first watched it with Rags. We were just fucking laughing our heads off the second that they just introduced Hitler as an imaginary friend. It was so
Yeah.
absurd, so funny.
But yeah, what a turn it takes as well. God damn.
Yeah,
So no, it's good stuff. And yeah, like when you get the actual premise of it is, you know, like the horror of war seen through the sort of innocence of a child who constructs all these like, you know, fantastical elements to make sense of it. It's like, okay, it really slots into place then.
dude. And some of the lines were absolute bangers. He's like, I look at our allies, the Japanese. They just don't look very Aryan. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's during the final battle where Jojo's running along with his friend and they're like carrying a big truck full of ammunition to the
yeah.
soldiers and there's like shit exploding all around him and his mate's just like, yeah, it's not a very good time to be a Nazi now. It's like with Russian and American soldiers like 100 yards away. That was great. the next one. MK said, could the Matrix have better addressed the morality of killing the lobby guards? Did our heroes not have non-lethal weapon specs to load out with? I mean, they probably did, but like they just, it would have
Are
been
we
too hard
talking
to
like
pull off.
trank darts or something?
Yeah, taser
I don't
them.
know. Maybe I don't know if you can be as efficient with like a load of you know, like
Yeah, with the sheer, it's not, you don't get a machine taser. You know what I mean?
And
That
the thing
shoots
is,
out
they were
dozens of tasers that can stun you.
the problem, I suppose, for them is that any of those guys can be agents at any point, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the issue, and yeah, I guess in the wider context of the war on the machines, like they're just seen as expendable, these people, because a lot of them are just completely locked into the matrix, and there's not even a hope of freeing them. Daniel Monroe said, do you have any favorites for the post-apocalyptic fiction category? I found myself being deterred by writers who think petrol functions years later. Yeah, that just pissed me off. Because yeah, you leave petrol sitting in a tank for more than a few years, and like the water just separates out from it, and then it usually ends up corroding the tank, and it's fucked. So yeah, things like that.
It is rare that you see that in a post-apocalyptic storyline. Like, people just don't tend to care about it, and oftentimes the storyline functions around fuel collection, and everywhere the fuel is just pristine.
It's how cars can be hot wired like a decade after society has collapsed. And yeah, apparently the batteries have still got juice in them. It's like, yeah, fuck off. No, they won't. It's little tropes like that always piss me off, I suppose. What's the next one? John Papa Sergio says, mentioned it before, the jacket. You need to get around to watching it, especially since you were to be in it. Yeah, that was that was the first movie I ever auditioned for to be like an extra, and I didn't get it because I didn't look mental enough, apparently. Well, joke's on them because I am, but yeah, I never really bothered watching it, I think. But apparently, it's got Adrian Brody and Keira Knightley in it.
Yeah, there's always your problem. You don't look mental enough. Like it's a big reason why you'll never make it to 10 million. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I'll just have to console myself with booze. OMG Puppies said, did you see the British vampire series Ultraviolet? More of a mystery conspiracy story than horror style. I did, actually. I remember fucking watching that, because you can shoot vampires with like ultraviolet bullets or something, or they're made from like oak or something, so it's like kind of stake driven through your heart. It's really fucking random. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It was like a 90s thing.
I think they had UV bullets in Underworld at one point. I can't remember if they had them in Blade.
Yeah, well, in Blade there was like a UV grenade.
Yeah.
That goes off. I think it's Blade 2, actually. Yeah, that was random. XSL said, will you ever watch 3 first films of horror icons? How do you mean, like the first Nightmare on Elm Street or like the first Halloween? I mean, I think I have already. Is that the question? I take it that's what I mean. But yeah, if that's the question, then yeah, I think we probably both have. Howie24 said, have you reviewed Snatch yet? Not reviewed it yet. Watched it loads of times though, so it's really good.
You're going to give it an extra shot at some point?
I think I've got to, yeah. What else can I do?
Mm-hmm.
The Outcast Creative says, Tatiana, my room 8:30, you 8:45. Bring a friend. Yeah. That just thinking about that line, actually, it's fucking medieval times, as if anyone's going to know what 8:30 or 8:45 even means. No fucks given. Jack Tease said, Drinker, you're saying M so much on purpose. Am I? I didn't mean to. I'm probably just stalling for time. SN7 gave me $1. Cheers. XSL said, thoughts on From Dusk Till Shaun and Shaun of the Dead sequel.
I don't know anything about it.
Is this a thing? Let me look it up.
I'd be terrified of the idea of them making a sequel to Shaun of the Dead, though.
From
Just
Dust Till
doesn't remember everything.
Shawn. Right, it's from the non-MAU film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. What the fuck?
Oh, is it like a reference?
So is that a movie within a movie or something? All right, let me look it up. So, okay, yeah, it's like a fake movie within the movie. So, yeah, it doesn't really, not really much I can say there. SN7 says, have you checked out Hell of a Boss and Habe's Has-Been Hotel on YouTube? They're funny as hell. I have not, I'm afraid. Andre Jones, On a Drinker recommends, and I, 49, and my son, 21, watched Arcane on Netflix. Awesome. Writing, artwork, characters, tone, pace, all awesome. Excellent. Glad you enjoyed it. Big Dave K said, if y'all have never played it, I recommend checking out the game 7 Days to Die. It's right up your alley. It's an open world game with endless zombies. Endless zombies just means endless fun. So I am happy with that idea. Eric DeMoya says, recently watched Legend. Any opinion? It's very 80s.
I haven't either. I haven't seen it, or I haven't seen it in so long I've completely forgotten it.
So that's the Tom Cruise one, and I think it's got what the fuck's her name? Jennifer Connelly as well. So yeah, she's like a princess, and he's like an elf or a fairy or something, and she gets kidnapped by the devil, and he's got to go rescue her with a unicorn. And yeah, it's just a very, very 80s film, and I think it was Ridley Scott that directed it. Like, from a visual point of view, it looks fantastic because it's kind of what you'd expect from him. Plot's absolutely bonkers, but again, that's kind of what you'd expect from 80s fantasy. Odinson99 says, hey Drinker, have you ever seen, and if so, will you review Sword and the Sorcerer from back when fantasy films had balls and were fun? I don't think I've seen that one, I'm afraid. Shash Twat says, are you a fan of Halo, Doom, or Wolfenstein? So, never cared that much about Halo. I didn't really play the games. I think I've only played and completed one of them. It was like Halo 3. Doom was good fun back in the day because there really wasn't much else. And I really like what they've done with some of the Wolfenstein new ones. You know, the proper, like, remade, updated ones. They're great fun. The Bits and Pieces man said, Titanic's practical effects hold up so well. They do.
They're amazing, honestly. The work that went into making that was fucking cool.
Only a guy like James Cameron could have made something like that happen.
Yeah, his passion for filmmaking practically, man, it's cool. Maybe there'll be something in his Avatar movies that'll be fun to see. I don't know.
Like one scene that's not green screened. Yay!
Yeah.
Frozen in the 80s said, MauLer, what do you think about the Wolfenstein game series?
I think I've, funnily enough, only played the original, really. Because I went through like a whole bunch of... I've always loved Quake since I was super young. I think that was one of the first games I ever played. And then I went back and played Doom and Wolfenstein when I was like a teenager. The newer Wolfenstein games, I think I played some of them at some point. I just can't remember anymore, and I'm just aware that there's lots of controversy about how they went as they went on. But yeah, I just don't know enough about Wolfenstein really enough to say anything else.
Yeah, I would, there is kind of weird things they do with the plot in terms of like the Germans conquering America and people collaborating with them and all that sort of thing. But from a gameplay point of view, they're pretty fucking good. Like they really like feel like modern day throwbacks to that classic first person shooter style that's just absolutely frantic, no fucks given. Yeah, it's pretty good fun from that point of view. Neil Horn says, Hail Drinker and MauLer, do you guys think the novel Ringworld by Larry Niven could be adapted to film? I know nothing about it, so I couldn't tell you, mate.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dark Fool said, Drinker, have you seen A Dark Song? It's based on Aleister Crowley and the Boleskine House in Scotland. I have not, I'm afraid, but I like the concept. Titanic Tuna says Tatiana is more of a character than Rey. True, and she hasn't even appeared on screen. At least she, to any degree by which we're aware. Maybe like it's going to be like the Haunting of Hill House. You're just going to see her in the background, like lurking. You know, you got to pause it. There's Tatiana right there. But let's say it doesn't take much to be more of a character than Rey. I mean, like a fucking cardboard box would be.
Yeah.
AIA says, opinion on the Dan Stevens film The Guest. Will either of you ever do a review or recommendation of Hacksaw Ridge?
I thought you did your coverage of Hacksaw Ridge.
I did, yeah. I did a happy hour on it with Shad.
Yeah.
And we had great discussions about it. It was a good film. Eric DeMoya says, little known vampire movie is called Near Dark. I've heard of that. Isa Majid's gave me £1. Thank you. And Zen RPG said, if you want a good graphic novel, the French comic Requiem Vampire Night by Pat Mills and Ledroit. It's just batshit insanity, an SS officer that dies and gets reincarnated into purgatory as a vampire where time goes backwards. I don't even know what to say about that. There's kind of a lot to unpack with this one. But yeah, sounds interesting anyway. RRTNZ says, you two are off to the drinker bunker. You could have room for a few movies each, but if you could only take one comedy each, what would they be?
Hot Fuzz.
Damn it.
It's so rewatchable.
I might go for Hot Shots Part Due. I feel like I could get quite a bit of mileage out of that. That or Super Troopers. I think either of those would keep me pretty entertained. I'm going to say Super Troopers, actually. Fuck it. I love that movie.
All right. There you
go. But that is it. We've made it to the end of the Super Chats. We've done it. I've done it, MauLer. Yeah.
Victory.
And I don't just mean from the other night. I mean tonight as well.
That's the double win. Excellent.
Yeah.
Congratulations, chat. You did it too. You joined us.
Thank you.
This journey.
We did this together. Thank you to all of you. And thanks to my mods for keeping everything civilized and keeping everything running. You guys are always doing an awesome job. And thanks to MauLer for coming in tonight to help out with this, as always.
No problemo.
All right. Well, the next time I catch you guys will be in a couple of days because I'll be doing an interview with Sam Jones from Flash Gordon. I'm going to talk about that movie, so that should be quite fun to do. And yeah, we'll do on Thursday happy hour with Voxus. We've got him on, and we're going to be doing Fellowship of the Ring. So
wait, that's going. Yeah, that'll be great. I'll try and check that out.
I said to him, like, you know, what movie might you like to do? And he's like, oh, let's do Lord of the Rings. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. So
you may get some resentment from all the other people who will be like, why did you let me?
I know. Yeah, this is the way it goes. Look, I mean, we're going to do Fellowship of the Ring, but there's 2 others to do, so that's all right. You know, we'll make it work. But yeah, anyway, I guess we'll finish up there. So that's all we got for today. So go away now.